Om Shri Sai Ram. Invoking the blessings of Bhagwan, I welcome you all for the next session of his story through the eyes of his students. I'm happy to announce that last time we had a very good response, and by Bhagwan's grace, we are again here with new brothers to share his story and share the love and joy they experienced with all the devotees. So as we normally do, let us start the session with a prayer. Please recite with me. O Lord, take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to Thee. O Lord, take my hands and let them work incessantly for Thee. O Lord, take my soul and let it be merged in one with Thee. O Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with Thee. O Lord, take my everything and let me be an instrument to work for Thee. Today we are blessed to have many of our brothers from different times, from 1969 onwards. So before I start, let me request brother to sing a bhajan to start this program.
करुणानिकेतन भक्त सखा प्रभु शरण मिलो भगवान भगवान दुख भंजन श्री राम त्रिभुवन संचारी ज्योति स्वरूपा नित्य निरंजन राम आदि अनंत है प्रेम स्वरूपा आदि अनंत है प्रेम स्वरूपा दुख भंजन श्री राम दुख भंजन साई राम.
Thank you, brother. So today, I have the pleasure of introducing to you 5 of my brothers who will take us through the journey, through the memory lane, a journey of nostalgia, a journey of divine love and sharing. So let me introduce first brother Naveen Patel.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram Naveen Bhaiya.
Sai Ram.
Mr. Naveen Patel, he hails from Leicester, United Kingdom. He is a biomedical student and a scientist, I would say. And he was the first batch of students who joined Bhagwan school way back in 1970 and was with him in close association till 74. He has seen Vrindavan grow. He has seen Bhagwan making this whole edifice. So welcome you, Bhaiya.
Thank you.
And we'd love to hear a few words from you. Tell us something about you and before you came to Swami.
Well, I hail from Kampala, Uganda, East Africa. And when Bhagwan first made his only visit outside India, he made it to East Africa. And that is where I had my first darshan of Bhagwan in June 1968, when Bhagwan asked me to come and join his institution. I was still studying for my O-level examination, that is the GCSE, and was still awaiting to finish my exams
Were
before
your parents already a devotee?
I uh, I didn't come from a Sai family. My parents were not from the Sai background. But what happened was that in my school days, one day I was in the Sanatan Mandir in Kampala, and one of the close friends of school friends of mine said there are bhajans on Thursday at certain place on Kampala Road, and I enjoyed bhajans. So I thought, okay, I'll go and visit that because my craving right from childhood was I wanted to see God, and I was trying to look for God in temples and places like that. And what I noticed was that okay, there are temples and there are murtis or the statues of gods, but where is the true God, living God, where I can search for Him? And this is where, at the right time, probably this boy came and suggested that I go and visit this little bhajan center on Kampala Road in Kampala. And that is where my journey started. This is way back in 1966 or so. And soon after that, I came to know that there was somebody called Dr. C.G. Patel and Madhuban who used to go to Bhagwan quite regularly, especially during the festival times in India and Puttaparthi. And I happened to get in touch with them. And later on, I came to know that Bhagwan was coming to East Africa at the invitation of Dr. C.G. Patel and Madhuban, and they were going to be residing at their place. And that's how we moved closer to the venue of Dr. C.G. Patel's. And that is
So
where I
you
had
were
my first session.
so you were attracted by the bhajans first, and then about the personas.
Because you see, there was nothing like Balvikas or anything else, just bhajans, nothing else. And the bhajans used to be, those days, the bhajans used to be long ones, going for about 15, 20 minutes or so, not sort of a short, sort of Nam Sankirtan type bhajans, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, no longer. That they were not non-existent. So they were there, but very few of them. And what we were
Okay,
getting was audio tapes from Puttaparthi and places like that. And that really attracted me. It is the every word you're reciting God's name instead of long, long bhajans where you're describing the God and that sort of thing.
excellent, Bhaiya. So I think we will hear more. You are a treasure house of experiences. So thank you
Sure.
very much for now,
Saram.
and we'll move forward with another brother. Thank you. Next, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Brother Emmalin Swami. Brother Emmalin Swami comes from
Sai
Hyderabad,
Ram.
Sairam. He's a retired
Sai
administrator in
Ram.
charge for Insight Consultants, and he studied in Vrindavan from 1978 to 81, graduated in commerce, and ever since he's been with us. So, Brother Swami, please, few words of introduction from your side.
Sai Ram. Pranams at our dear Lord Lotus feet and Sai Ram to all. My parents had Swami's darshan in the year 1958 when Swami came to Andhra tour in Rajmundry, East Godavari district, Andhra Pradesh. So since then, my parents followed what Swami said, what Swami asked. They have followed. They have completely. They were with Swami and saw that all our family members came into his fold in the year 1958. So my Prema Bandham with Swami is 57 years old. In the year
So sweet.
1960, in the year
So basically, you are
1963.
from the birth, you are with Bhagwan.
Yes, brother. Yes, brother. Sai Ram.
Thank you, brother.
1963. In the
Yeah.
year 1963, I had Swami's darshan when I am 3 years old boy, and I came to Puttaparthi. Just 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. I came to Puttaparthi, sitting on my father's shoulders. So that just one that incident I'll tell, and I'll conclude.
Sure, please go ahead. No problem.
In those days, coming to Puttaparthi is very tedious. 1.5 day, 2 days journey from my native place. 3 trains they have to change, 1 bus, and finally they reach Bukkapatnam. From Bukkapatnam, all the devotees they come to Puttaparthi by bullock cart. All ladies and luggage, children will be sitting in bullock cart. All gents used to walk from Bukkapatnam to Puttaparthi, 6.6.5 kilometers distance. So when they reach the bank of Chitravati river, so all the ladies and luggage was be there in the bullock cart, and children used to sit on the father's shoulders to cross the river Chitravati. So like that, I came to Parthi sitting on my father's shoulder, and
that was a real tapasya in those days, huh?
Exactly, brother.
Coming to
Sai
God
Ram.
was not easy.
Yes.
Excellent.
Sai
I look
Ram.
forward to hearing more stories from you soon. Thank you, brother.
Yes.
So next I have brother S. Kumar.
Sai Ram.
Sairam. S. Kumar is presently based in Washington, D.C., United States, and he's a software engineer. He came to Puttaparthi as a student in 1984 and finished his master's and PhD in Department of Math by 1992. So I would request Brother Kumar to tell us more about himself and share something before you came to Swami. How was your situation?
Sai Ram, Brother Ravi, thank you for this opportunity, and thanks to everyone listening here. Pranams at the lotus feet. My name is Kumar, and I grew up in a small town called Neyveli, where my parents were living, and I was born at that time, and in 1960s. So Swami was already in our house, as a family member. So we were visiting Puttaparthi from 1960s, but I don't remember my visiting to Puttaparthi until 1970s, in my first grade. So Puttaparthi used to be a great place where we heard Dr. Raja Reddy Garu and Vijayamma and all those people sing. And from then on, we grew in Swami's family life. So in such a condition where we got an opportunity to be in Sundaram, Chennai, in my teenage, and I was able to be singing in bhajan group in Sundaram, and moved on to Parthi in 1984. From then on, Abhi already told.
Did you happen to learn music officially?
Yes, I learned my Carnatic classical from Sri Chembai Anandamani, who had taught many students in the small town Neyveli, and he has produced many professionals who hail from Neyveli, which people know. So it is such a great honor to have learned music from him. He gave me the Swarasthan.
Oh, excellent. Brother Kumar, we know that you have also a treasure full of experiences with Bhagwan, and we look forward to hearing it more. So thank you for now. Thank you. And next I have Brother Ravi Mariwala.
Sai Ram.
Sairam. Brother Ravi is presently based in Cary, North Carolina, United States. He's working as an associate director in healthcare consulting in Cognizant. He was a student in Prashanti Nilayam from 1982 to 1991. He joined in the higher secondary school from 11th grade and went on to do his BSc and MBA. And later on, surprisingly, Swami chose him to work in the hospital. So, Brother Ravi, over to you. Please tell us something more about yourself and your days before you came to as a student.
Sure.
Brother
Thank you
Ravi.
so much. Thank you, Abhimanyu. Thanks for the introduction. Uh, so, I came from a family of non-devotees, but we don't know who a devotee is and who a non-devotee is. But somehow we got associated with Swami because my aunt from Delhi was very much into Swami. And she kept on asking us to visit Dharmakshetra when Swami came to Mumbai, but we would never do that. But somehow in the year 1977, which is way back, we visited Dharmakshetra, and both my mother and me, we felt that this was an extraordinary event in our life. And there onwards, I got into Balvikas. My mother became a Balvikas teacher, and slowly but surely we moved into the Sai fold. And there were two Sai students from Brindavan, current students, who lived in Bandra, where I was born and lived at that time. And probably because of that, and because of some very sincere and devoted Balvikas teachers, this desire to become a student of Swami grew very significantly in me. And, I was at that time a typical Mumbai boy. Swami often used to liken Mumbai to New York. And, I was moving in that direction. But Swami rescued me and brought me to his feet. And ever since, I had a long and very beautiful journey with Bhagwan, which we'll talk about.
Excellent. Thank you, Ravi. And I'm sure you have also tons of experience to share with the world, and we look forward to that. Thank you. Next, last but not the least, I have Brother M. Sai Nath. His actual name
Sairam.
is Sai Nath Manikonda. He's from Hyderabad in India. He works for ICFAI group of universities. I believe there are 12 of them in the country. He's the Dean of Curriculum, Faculty, Entrepreneurship Development. So Sainath, welcome. And please say a few words as an introduction and tell us something before your student days.
Sairam to all my sisters and brothers who are logged in. First of all, thank you for this talk show, which brings out Swami's glory through the eyes of his students. Uh, I remember I was born into a family where my parents were already devotees of Bhagwan. And my father, in fact, was coming to see Bhagwan even before he was married. And he made it a point that each one of us three siblings were brought to have Bhagwan's blessings after we were born. And the first time I came to Bhagwan was when I was a 4-month-old baby in May, June 1968. It was a peak summer at that time, and my mother carried me and we came to Puttaparthi. And as it would have it, Bhagwan was leaving for East Africa exactly at that moment. In fact, the devotees were on either side of a lane. And Swami's walking in between the lanes, blessing all the devotees. And because I was crying at the top of my voice, my mother was asked to move backwards a little bit. So she was feeling a little upset that, my son is not going to be blessed by Bhagwan. But as luck would have it, we were blessed because Swami deviated from his path, came to where my mother was standing, and he rubbed his hand on my bald head at that time. I was around cherub. And, he rubbed his hand on my head like that and then just went away. So that was the first blessing I got from Bhagwan. Because father was in the Indian Railways, we made it a point that every year we would come to have Bhagwan's darshan without fail from wherever in the country we were. So my earlier education was all over the country. I was in several places having my education done, but we made sure that we had come to Bhagwan, number one, wherever we were every year, and number two, whichever place we were, we made it a point to attend the bhajans and the other activities in that locality without fail. So that was more or less, yes, we were very familiar with the Bhagwan. We were uh, into the bhajans and his books and all that. In fact, I remember reading Howard Buffett's Man of Miracles book when I was in my third or fourth standard. I read the Howard Buffett's entire book. I read. I was in Calcutta at that time, so I started reading at that time itself. So yes, Bhagwan was very much a part of a family from the moment I started getting the senses of my this birth.
Sai Nath, as you are talking to about your days, about your childhood, I believe Swami had blessed you as a child and predicted what you are going to do in his school and college. Can you share that?
It was not exactly the Swami, but because I was crying very loudly, I believe, when Swami came to me apparently and he rubbed his hand on my head, apparently had uh, stopped crying. And it was a beautiful moment with Swami at that time. And somebody who was standing next to my mother told, your son's future is definitely set with Swami. uh, I must admit, as I will be sharing later, I had absolutely no clue how prophetic that statement is going to be. Yes, you are right, because Swami, when he was talking to the President of India, the late Dr. S.T. Sharma, actually Swami told him at one point of time about how I had come to him as a small baby and how he had actually put a stamp on me right at that point of time. So, yes, that acknowledge came much later.
Much later. Okay. Let me bring in Naveen, brother Naveen here, because you said about East Africa, and there's a time when Naveen brother got involved.
Yes.
Naveen bhai,
I
we would like to hear, we'd like to hear that portion of the life when Swami came to East Africa, and how did he tell you to join his college when there was nothing?
Sure. Okay. Swami came to East Africa, Kampala, in July 1968. I was a special volunteer there. What special volunteer was duties included to receive um, the guests, the VIPs coming from outside to pay their homage to Swami. And the other times when the party that came along with Swami, I was supposed to be serving them, and the whole 24 hours was around Swami's bungalow. Um, it so happened that one earlier hours of the morning, my duty was to decorate a path leading from the bungalow to a large marquee that was outside where Swami was residing. And what happened was that this is at about 3:30 in the morning. And those days we were very few of the volunteers. And my duty, it was the only way it was to decorate that path. And that was, I was supposed to do that on my own. And in East Africa, we get plenty of flowers, beautiful flowers, roses, and you name it. We were getting a lot of chrysanthemums and roses, etc. And the path was laid out such that there was a concrete path onto which I was doing this rangoli decoration with flowers, obviously. And by the side of this concrete path, there were thorny rose bushes, beautiful. They were in full bloom as well. At about early hours of the morning, at about 3:30 in the morning, I was still doing this path, and suddenly my head was sort of bowed down onto the floor, concentrating on the pattern that I was putting in. And suddenly I felt as though Swami was standing next to me. I felt, no, it can't be true at 3:30 in the morning. No, Swami normally comes down at about 7 o'clock in the morning. So it can't be true. So I didn't pay any attention. The next moment that happens was a kick on my backside. I turned up, and it turns out to be Swami in front of me. What do you call Swami at that time? Oh, Sairam. Swami is Sairam himself standing in front of you. And you don't. So it's an ironical, situation. I stood up and stood next to Swami, and Swami was admiring these beautiful flowers, and then looking at the pattern that I had done upon. To cut the story short, he was looking at it, and then he said, "What are you doing?" So I said, "Swami, I'm putting up a pattern." "So what sort of pattern are you doing?" "Swami, I'm going to do the 5 symbols of the Sarva Dharma. That is our Sai symbol. So I've already done the Om in front, and there is a crescent, and then Jesus Christ's cross. That is what I was doing at that time." And he said, "So what is going to happen then?" So I said, "Swami, it is meant for you, and I am expecting that you will walk over that." My first lesson in life was this thing: no divinity will ever walk over these symbols, and symbols should not be put on the floor like that, such that people can trample on it. So I said,
So
"Swami, I
beautiful.
put it on for you." He said, "No, I'll walk over the thorns that are by the side on the rose bushes that were there. I'll walk over that." "Swami, no, you can't do that." And that within that conversation, Swami was admiring that flower as well. And then he took a 360-degree turn and then faced me again. And he looked at me and says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Swami, I'm still studying. And soon after that, I'll be going to UK to study further there." So I said, "Why? Okay." And then he immediately blurted out there, "I'll give you an admission in my college." Dear brothers and sisters, let me tell you, 1968, there was no college that Swami had. There were no plans of college as well. And how come this Sai Baba is telling me that I'll give you an admission in my college? Come to India, come to my college. So, and then he left back into his quarters, his room, as though, and Dr. C.G. Patel was down by that time as well. And he didn't speak to anybody, straight back to his room, as though he had specially come out to talk to me. So it is quite a remarkable first lesson that I got, and also a word from Swami inviting me to his college.
So beautiful. I feel sometimes it looks as if he went to East Africa to invite you.
Sometimes it feels like that.
Right, like
Especially
that.
he had to come down to East Africa to
To
call
do
me
that.
to his college. No doubt the college came up in 1969, and after finishing my O-level examination in East Africa, I went to Puttaparthi, or Brindavan, first of all, where Swami was. And
Excellent. Let me pull in another brother here just to hear from him. But for the audience, I have a question. What was the name of the college Bhagwan started? What was the name given to the college when it started? So, audience, please feel free to answer. I will read it, and if we'll announce the correct answer later on in the show. So, brother Emmalin,
Yes.
let me ask you, what was the trigger for you to come to Puttaparthi?
Yes, brother. So, as I told you, since my birth, I'm at the lotus feet. And when Swami started the Sai Seva organization in the year 1965 in Dharmakshetra, my father attended as office bearer there. And then he came back to native place and started uh, opening Satsai Seva Samitis along with other devotees in that particular area. So I was blessed by Swami in the year 1965, a rebirth to me. About this incident, I want to tell you now, all of you,
Sure.
dear brothers and
Yeah, we'll
sisters.
look forward to that. Yes, please.
Yeah, yes, brother. In the year 1965, I'm 5 years old, and every Sunday there used to be a study circle in my house. And that same year, Swami's discourses, divine discourses, was came in a book as SSSHIL speaks. So that English book used to be read by one person and it translate into Telugu. This study circle is going on every Sunday. So about this photograph, when I joined in first 1978 in BCom first year, about
You
this
continue with your
photograph,
story. You
yeah,
continue with your
about
story, and I'll come back to here.
yeah, about this photograph also I'll tell you. I will come back to that this incident later. About this photograph, in the first year of my studies, Swami one day giving photographs to each and every brother. We are around 300 students at that time in the year 1978 when the new hostel building was inaugurated in the 77. So one evening when we are coming back from college, all brothers from hostel running towards Swami's bungalow. We didn't know what is happening. Then some brothers told Swami is giving photographs. So we kept the books there itself near the hostel main gate and ran inside the bungalow. Then all brothers are standing in queue. So one after another, this Polaroid photograph, this is a Polaroid photograph, 10 snaps in a, as you all of you know, 10 snaps will be there in that sachet. So one after one another, we are Swami is giving photographs. And see, I'm wearing color dress. In those days, in the early years, color dress we used to wear and
The
go to
protocol
college.
was,
And
yeah, it was different
yeah,
protocol.
that was, yes. And immediately I ran. That's why I stood there. And in this also, Swami gave a lesson to all of us. What he told in Telugu, I'll tell first, then I'll translate into English. When Swami gave photographs to all the 300 boys and some of the VIPs over there. And while giving the photographs, he is telling to all of us, చూడండిరా దివ్యత్వమే ఇలా నిల్చుని ఉంటుంది, మానవత్వమే మారుతూ ఉంటుంది. That is, divinity will, brother, I think you understood. Divinity will, yeah, దివ్యత్వమే ఇలా నిల్చుని ఉంటుంది, మానవత్వమే మారుతుంటుంది. We are human beings. We are changing one after another. We are changing to take photographs from Swami. But Swami stood for all the 300 photographs. Divyatvam, the divinity will stand like that only. But only
he would always say that divinity is constant.
Yes,
and
constant.
Nature keeps coming and going. So divinity is constant and you keep changing. See.
Yes,
excellent.
Yes, brother. Yeah,
so come back to your childhood
60.
story.
Yeah. A rebirth to me in the year 1965 when we that about the study circle. I'm telling the person reading the Swami's SSSHIL speaks Swami's discourse, and myself and my sister, we went upstairs. I'm a 5 years old boy. We went upstairs and playing, and while playing I came to the corner of the roof and fell down from that place.
Oh, you slipped from top. Okay.
Slipped from top and around 20 to 25 feet high, the terrace. So then that in the downstairs it is a concrete floor, and a sudden sound came, and all the people who are sitting in the room studying, reading Swami's, the person is reading Swami's discourse, they heard this noise, sound, and my name is Lakshmi Narasimha Swami. In previously they used to call me Narasimham padipayadu, Narasimham fallen down, and they came running outside and they saw me unconscious. And brothers, dear Sai brothers and sisters, anything might have had happened on that particular moment. Not even a single scratch on my body, and they applied immediately vibhuti to me, and everything was fine. After some time I was conscious, and I along with other devotees, I had been to Hanuman temple that day evening. I participated in bhajan also, and this is the thing happened in the year 1965. About this, after this had happened, my father wrote a letter to Swami. Swami, you saved my son. And thanking Swami, he wrote a letter to Swami that in those days, Kasturi Garu used to take all the postal letters to Swami after Swami retires after the darshan in the upstairs. So as soon as Swami saw Kasturi Garu, this is the Sanatana Saradi 1965 August issue, Telugu. So as soon as Swami saw Kasturi Garu, Swami told him, Kasturi, you have a 10th letter in your hand is written by my father's name is Suryanarayanamurthy. Suryanarayanamurthy wrote a letter to Swami, thanking Swami that Swami saved his son. You see that this letter to be printed as it is in the coming issue of Sanatan Sardi. So I'm fortunate, dear brothers and sisters, this letter was printed in Sanatana Sardi. And this lady, I think most of you know, who serves in South Indian Canteen Ladies Wing, Kantama, she was there in that room while study circle is going on that day, 1965, June month. So this particular incident letter, complete letter was printed in 1965, August Sanatan Sardi, Telugu Sanatan Sardi, about Kritagnyatalu, thanking Swami. My father wrote a letter to Swami. This is the thing happened, dear brothers and sisters. So
Beautiful.
I'm able to speak in front of you today because Swami saved my life on the year when I am 5 years old.
Excellent.
Sai Ram.
I will bring in S. Kumar now from there, because the
Sairam.
era moves from 69, 70 to mid 70s to 80s. So, Brother S. Kumar, what was your trigger to come to Bhagwan? How did he
Ab-
pull you in?
Absolutely. Though I was born in Sai family in a small town in Neyveli, you would not know what are the procedures to join Swami's college. In a smaller town, it takes time for us to know how we can join Swami's college. We would not know. So during my bachelor's, I was thinking by then Swami's school had started, but I didn't know what are the procedures. So when I moved for bachelor's to Chennai, the city where I was where I got the opportunity to sing in Sundaram, that's when the awareness became more, and I came to Swami's college because Swami motivated me while singing. You know, like the first bhajan, Kamala Netra Saishwara, and Hey Kamala Nayana Bhagavan. Swami just looked at me and smiled, and this Kamala Nayana means one who smiles, and one who has a lotus eyed, and that beautiful eyes, and the inspiration when you look at Swami, the kind of attachment he brings into his physical form is phenomenal. And that, I said, if we can sing for him in this life, that is the greatest thing one can have. And I was like waiting, and I got to know the procedures in Sanatan Sarati, the advertisement and stuff. Like, I applied. You won't believe, in this entrance exam, there were so many people who wrote, and then there were only 2 students who were chosen for masters in mathematics. One is myself, another is Ram Krishna. Like, I could not believe myself that in the whole of so many students who wrote for master's entrance exam, how would Swami choose only 2 of us in the class? We had more professors, 5 professors in masters for 2 students. So that is, I mean, Swami is the motivator, Swami is the inspiration. Swami's physical form inspired me to join, though I was in Swami's family for so long.
Excellent, excellent. And I see this picture. What are you getting here?
Oh, that was at the end of my PhD. Swami was telling us to, the day there's a little story, if I can take a minute.
Sure.
During my master's, Swami used to say, oh, MSc అయిపోయింది, next MRS చేసేద్దాం. MRS means Mrs. Once
Get
you're done
married.
MSc, then you get married, MRS. So then, my parents came for the interview, and then it was in the year 1986 and March. And then my father's birthday, Swami materialized a lingam and gave it to him. He said, I'll take care of Kumar. So, when you come to Puttaparthi and you start feeling the bliss, the beauty of Swami, you don't feel like leaving. You want to keep on studying something by which you can stay there, right? He is the only inspiration for every one of us to continue so long with him. And that was when, during my master's, he said, I'll take care of him, and then I'll give him a seat in PhD, and stuff like that. So then he said that, and then the another thing which is happening in 1986 is master's in business administration, MBA program started for the first time in 1986. And my brother, who's very conscious of, he's also listening most probably. My brother, who's very conscious of what is growth in career, and so he's told me, it's better you do MBA because PhD goes on forever. And then on the one hand, like I was, like Swami told PhD, it's we go through this contradiction in our mind. And then I have not even narrated this to my brother. He was the head of the family at that time. He was leading the family. So he said, you should do MBA only. So then I said, one side PhD, Swami already told, another side MBA is coming up. Which one? Like a whole contradiction in my mind. I wrote a letter to Swami, but Swami was not responding. On that day, when the MBA entrance exam is happening, I didn't go because Swami didn't give me a yes. And then immediately after that morning bhajan, where me and Mohanrao were sitting and singing alternate bhajans, Swami went inside the bhajan, interview room after bhajans and came out. Hey, Kumar, come here. No entrance exam, poleda. Like, Swami, I wrote to you so many times, and Swami, I was waiting for going to MBA entrance exam for so many times, kept application form ready, everything. If you only told me, I would have given it. Now, yeah. Then he said, Bangaru, very good. Come and take Pada Namaskar. What does that mean? You respected my word and you stuck on to that. And he gave me a Pada Namaskar, and that's how I did PhD. And that was a picture which Swami awarding.
That was your destiny. That was destiny. Excellent.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So we'll hear more from you. Let me bring in Ravi. So, Brother Ravi, so tell us your story about it.
So it's so beautiful to hear the story of three senior brothers. Like I said, when we came to Swami in the late 70s, I was really going in the wrong path. And but my Balvikas teachers, they inspired me so much to make certain changes in my life. And I think it is a question of timing. Swami responds to you, as he has always said, you take one step towards me, I'll take 1,000 towards you. And he also makes the timing perfect so that it becomes a lesson to us, and it's something that others also can live and learn by. So as soon as I made those decisions, the phone in our house rang, and none other than Mr. Indulal Shah was on the line with my mother, saying that Bhagwan is making a sudden visit to Mumbai, Dharmakshetra, and is your son willing to talk about how Balvikas has changed him? So there is one black and white picture. I was a young, disinterested boy, and I got this opportunity to talk in Bhagwan's presence in 79. There were thousands of people, and as I went up the stage, and Swami accepted my garland, as you can see. But certain memories really stand out. Not only did he accept the garland, right there on the stage, he gave me a hug, an embrace, and that is unforgettable, because even though sometimes our feeling may not be so strong, Bhagwan recognizes and blesses us, and also elevates us by by his personal interaction of that type. And then all through the talk, though I was a small boy, it was not as if I was speaking some great things. My experience was very limited and only starting to happen. But Bhagwan kept looking at me. I have another picture which shows how Swami is, looking as I speak. And I narrated some incidents about how, as a little boy, chanting Swami's name, I was able to overcome my fear of the dark. My concentration improved. I improved my rank from bottom of the class to top of the class. And a couple of small things happened. But when I came back to take namaskar after my talk, Swami said, "Look at the pointed edges of my footstool and don't hurt your head." You know, and and
Yeah,
and
he's
and yeah, and look at that in front of so many thousands of people. Bhagwan is so focused on the individual, and he is working with each individual. And then he made me sit to his left, and he kept on rubbing my back, probably, taking away the Mumbai effect and bringing in the Sai effect. And then I asked him whether I could join his college, and he said, "Yes, you should come when you finish your 10th grade." And I said, "But Swami, my mother is a devotee, but my father won't allow me to come." And see, at that time itself, Bhagwan was looking years ahead, and he said, "I know mother ko bahut devotion hai, but father ko andar mein hai," which means your father also has got devotion within. You cannot see it, but I know it. So that's where my whole saga of association with the Lord started. And it's important because these first interactions really set the tone for the rest of your life. Not just your interaction with Swami, but Swami is keeping on interacting with us all through. But that's where it all began.
excellent, excellent. So finally, let me ask Sai also to share his part of the story.
Yeah, it's actually so nice listening to the narrations of my senior brothers. As you know, I'm probably the youngest in this group, starting from 1970s right up till the 80s and 90s. Uh, like I told you, we used to enjoy coming to see Bhagwan during the years. Throughout the years, we would love to come and have Bhagwan's darshan. And after my 10th class was over, Swami came to Vijayawada. We were staying at Vijayawada at that time. And we were made to sit along with many other devotees on the road because there was no place inside. And when Bhagwan arrived, the crowd was a little unruly. And Swami was just avoiding the crowd, and we were just wondering how are we going to even see Swami here. And you will not believe it, all of a sudden, Swami, once again, in my childhood, when I was born, Swami had diverted his path to come to my mother and rub his hand on my shoulder. He did that once again now. He did that once again, walked up to the section where my father and I were seated, and then he just lifted his robe and said, Chesko Ra. Chesko Ra in Telugu means,
Take.
boy, take Padnamaskar. It can also be Chesuko and come, Ra. So something set off. I wanted to actually, then my father broached the topic that after my 10th class, perhaps I should join Swami school. And I liked the idea. I said, yes, I would like to go. But apparently, I don't think that was the time yet for me because my application didn't go through. I was not selected. And you will not believe it. After my 12th class, I didn't want to go. It was my father who wanted me to go, and it was some very unpleasant situations. I was very stubborn. I said, why do you want me to go there and study? I'm very happy seeing Swami once a year. I don't want to study there. But my father said, why don't you try? So something happened when the bus entered the arch of Gokulam Arch. I still don't know what it is, but I turned around 180 degrees. From a time when I didn't want to study there, all of a sudden I wanted to do nothing but study there. I said, I don't want to leave this place. And maybe that was the time because every other avenue was closed. Like I didn't make it to through the MSET, and I didn't get through to BITS Pilani and other places where I had applied. All my avenues were closed, and Puttaparthi was the only place where I got the seat. And it's almost like Swami said, now is the time, I got you. And even the way I joined was very peculiar in the sense that the results, as you very well know, in those days, June 1st, whatever happens, the college used to begin. And the results were announced. And on June 10th, one of my father's officers came to Puttaparthi and casually just looked at the list. He found my name there. Somehow the admission letter didn't reach me. So I came on June 12th. It was 12 days after this thing was done. But I was surprised to hear that the warden met me at that time and he told me that we were expecting you. Swami told us that you'd be coming. Please remember, I didn't have this kind of a personal interaction with Swami still at that point of time. But Swami apparently said, we knew that you would be coming. Swami told us to keep it. And I joined 12 days later. I don't know whether, that kind of thing was given to anybody, but this was Swami's grace. When he wants me to come, when he thought it was a time to join, he made sure that I joined somehow or the other. So, yeah, in the very first semester of my joining, he waited for a few days for me to cool down, a few experiences here and there, which I will narrate gradually. And
Sure.
at the end of the semester, he told me that, whichever, did you come?
At this point, let me take a musical break. May I ask Kumar, because you have got tons of those things. So if you can pick up one of your favorite songs, tell us something about it and sing it for all of us.
Absolutely. When the year 1984, when I joined, I think Swami was preparing all of us towards 60th birthday celebrations. So at that time, Swami wanted to find out whether are these boys really capable of delivering what I want. So you won't believe, just like in the US, we do staging and then production. Swami was trying to, this is how my analysis goes now, much later. Swami picked up a function like Ugadi, in the year 1986 March, 85 March, which is much ahead of 60th birthday. And then he wanted to check whether whatever he has composed and taught, whatever he has composed in his life, whether students can really repeat what they want. So one of those songs which he taught, the very first song I learned from Bhagwan is a Tamil song. We always think that Swami is only speaking Telugu. Okay.
Telugu,
Yeah. So, like the first song, he said, I'm going to teach you a Tamil song which I composed. So people wonder, did Swami really compose Tamil song? And then that was when he taught me the song. Indre subadiname, Indre subadiname, பொன்னொழியே புதுமலரே என்னருள் ஜீவியத்தில் சொல்வாயே இன்றே சுபதினமே. What does that mean? Today is a sacred day. So
you sing the English one. Sing the English one also.
Today is a sacred day. Today is a sacred day. Inde subadinave. Swami said, this is a song which everyone should sing every day, because every day is a holy day. Every day is a super day. Every day is a new day. Every day is an energetic day. So for Swami, there is no, so though he taught the song for a new year, he said, if you can treat every day as a new day, new year day, you will have resolutions for that day and try to achieve it instead of postponing till the year end. So that was a lesson he taught through this song. There are so many other songs. I don't want to go into it unless
in this song he had different languages also, right?
Yes, correct. So, but the first Tamil part is what he says is the song actually gives you some of jumping things. So jumping joy. Pulliman pol nenjam tullude. Aha, Pulliman pol. Swami said, give a gap. Pulliman pol nenjam tullude. So, like a deer jumps, like that. That's how it should be. Second time you have to sing. Tulliman pol nenjam tullude. So that is how he taught this song and made all of us, me, Hiro, Kote, Tiwari, and each and every one of us, every one of you should sing. He said, you sing Telugu, you sing, in Nede Subadi Name Telugu, and today is a sick. Hiro sang English. Today is a sick, like that. I'm just giving the joy which Swami gave us. The very first song. There were so many other songs followed. Sonam tuned this song for the music. Inde Shubhadiname. Inde Shubhad. The music Sonam gave. He made it so Western that everyone in the US loved this song so much. I just thought I'll narrate that.
Actually, we had it in January 1st, I remember. And we all had a big laugh and enjoy. And Bhagwan also was very happy to hear this song.
Yeah,
It was all his composition. Can you imagine what a simple composition, but what a touching and beautiful composition. Let me bring in Naveen Bhaiya, and I will bring in others also, because we are going to start a little bit of stories now, and I want to take it from Naveen, brother. Yeah, when you came in 1969-70 to Whitefield, there was practically nothing. I
There
believe
was,
I believe there was a college when he had started in 1969,
that's right.
and I have got the answers from the audience. So before I take it forward, let me congratulate all the people who have given the answers. Sri Satya Sai Arts and Science College, not
That's right.
Arts, Science and Commerce. It was Arts and Science College.
Correct.
So those who have got it right, congratulations. So I believe in 69, Bhagwan had started a very small setup as a name of college. There were hardly some 15, 20 boys. And surprisingly, today I got to know there were some sisters also who were later on shifted to Anantapur when the Anantapur college started in 69. And that is how the first year remained. And there was no hostel for the first year. It was all day scholars. They used to stay in villages or somewhere and then come down for college. In 69 and 70 before starting, Swami started preparing. And in the last interview, I had shared that Swami had converted the top of the garage and made it into a hostel for boys. So I would like Brother Naveen, who was witness to all of this, who was part of this journey, to tell us about how did the hostel come about, how did the college come about, and how was Swami involved so much in fixing up the routine, the daily schedules, and everything. So please, over to Naveen Bhaiya.
Okay. Sairam again. In 1970, that's when Swami started the hostel. Obviously, Abhi has already stated that the college started in 1969 with only one degree level, that is the BA classes going on. But the hostel started the following year, and a few students were staying outside the hostel in 1969. But in 1970, Swami converted the garages and had a first floor above the garages as you enter Brindavan campus. You will see the entrance on the left hand side. You've got the car parks, carports, or the garages. Above the garages, there was a dormitory constructed that was about 20 feet by 40 feet. And in that, we were to reside in that. There was just one dormitory with tin roof over it. And Swami started with initially 12 boys, and then he included few more. And eventually, it became to 22 boys in that hostel. We did not have any luxuries, i.e. beds or separate rooms or anything like that. It was just one large dormitory with the 24 or so, all of us in that dormitory from different parts of the world. And the back of this first floor building, there was some bathrooms created for us to shower and wash. And on the side of these carports, obviously the kitchen came up. So that is how the setup was.
Wow.
As you see, this is the one of the first few photos. It's all in black and white. That they were the good old days of black and white. And here is Swami.
I believe
Swami
you
used
are
to
the only
spend a
photographer,
lot.
so you are not in the picture, but you have taken all these pictures, I believe.
That's right, yes. I've taken these photos, and that is why I'm not in the photos. Swami is sitting with us in the dormitory where we were sleeping. And at the same time, Swami used to check everything that was cooked in the kitchen. And many a times he would say, I'm going to have dinner with you. So we would all sit down and have dinner with Swami. That was, it's fantastic. So, in other words, the cooks and everything had to be up to date. The cooks had to prepare everything so clean and very nicely they were prepared. Swami had given us two cooks and a cleaner. So they used to prepare these lovely dishes. And you can see this is our first batch of students in the hostel. And we were from different parts of the world.
I want you to highlight the chair and table.
As you can
Because that
see, this is a folding chair and table. In fact, this is much posher chair and table. Initially, the day one that we entered the hostel and Swami was with us, there was the painters had left a broken table on which they were standing and painting the walls, and they had left that on corner, in one of the corners. And Swami sat on this table, which was dirty, and yet he sat on it and he started talking to us. And we felt, at least I felt very bad. And with me was Anup Shah. Both of us came from East Africa, from Kampala. We felt very bad. And next day we made sure that we had brought a velvet chadar, bed sheet for Swami. And we laid it on this table. And at the same time, a day or so after that, both of us rushed into the city of Bangalore and tried to look for something that with which we can make Swami comfortable. And this is what we bought: a table and a chair for Swami to sit on, and made it more comfortable with the velvet bed sheet and other things that were there, cushions and things like that. And we also bought a silver plate and glass for Swami, so that we can offer this when Swami is eating with us. Otherwise, was Swami was eating with us in a Hildalium plate, ordinary plate, and a glass, normal ordinary glass. So which we felt, no, that is not what we want Swami to be served in. And that is why we bought all these things for Swami. And Swami, many times, as I said, he would have dinner with us. He said, what has been cooked? And he would go into the kitchen and check every item that was there. And the good thing about it is that Swami is so gregarious. So, okay, today I've had dinner with you in your house. Tomorrow you come and have dinner with me in my house. This is, it's sort of it gives us a perspective or a direction that, we need to do something in return when we go and get ourselves fed at somebody's house. You go and invite the other person, their house as well. And this is what's happening next day. And so I'll treat you lavishly at my house tomorrow. You are all welcome to my house. And he would individually come and tell us, come to my house tomorrow, my house. He was so proud of doing that.
Naveen,
and then next day,
you're telling about how he chose the first batch of students and he made a list of them. I want to share that. Please tell about that.
yes, initially, as I'm just jumping some things, but this you see in front of you. This is a list that Swami drew up. He asked for a pen and paper, and this is what we came up with. We didn't have anything, didn't expect anything out of us, and so immediately tore a piece of paper from our books, and that is what we gave to Swami. And Swami wrote down the names of these 22 boys who were to be first residents of the hostel. That was our dormitory. And you can
Let me read it for the information of the audience.
Sure.
First, and he can see that he has written it. This is Swami's handwriting, and he has written it in an alphabetic order.
That's right.
So he starts with Anup, Arun,
That was from East Africa.
Bhimesh, yes, Bhimesh, Chaitanya, Chandrasekhar, Devan Datta, Prakash, Raghavan, Ravi Shankar, Ram Mohan, Ram Subramanyam, Ramesh Babu, Raghuram, Nityanand, Naveen, Krishna Kumar, Somesh Sarkar, Satish, Unni Krishna, Venkat Raman, and 21 is interesting. He writes Kamani and he puts in a bracket son. I believe it is Kamani's son or something like that.
Yes. Is Kamani is, Pune Chandra Auditorium at Prashanti Nilayam.
Yes.
It was the first building within the Prashanti Nilayam that was named other than Swami's name, and that was Pune Chandra Auditorium. That was being built by Sri Kamani Pune Chandra, and that is where that name came from. And that is what Swami has put in Kamani, son.
And what was this Deepak on top?
Deepak was from Darjeeling. He comes from a army family, and his parents were to be posted in near Brindavan, near Bangalore. So like that is how he came to come stay with us. Sorry, I didn't get you.
I said Deepak was not confirmed at that time, I believe, right?
No, he wasn't. But after a week or so, he was with us.
Okay, so they were 22 or 21 starting, and then later on it grew from there.
That's right, yes.
Okay, I believe this is the group picture for that.
Yes. And once again, I think I'm missing of that list as well. That photo, again, that is a photo that I took. It's a black and white photo. But there is another photo, colored photo, that was taken the same time. You will see me in there.
Yes, we'll come back to that. So,
okay.
Emmalin, when you joined in 1976,
78.
78. How was the hostel there? From this, imagine from a shed kid. Now, what was it when you joined it?
As Naveen brother just now told, we have complete all facilities of water cavern block inaugurated by Swami in the years 1977. So I joined in Swami's college. It's a miracle and a blessing. Hello, Sai Ram.
Yeah, carry on. You carry on.
In the year 1978, month of February, Swami performed my second brother's marriage in Prashantranayam, in interview room. And Brahmasri Kamadhani Garu was the Purohit there, Swami was there, and all my family members were there, except myself. That year, I am writing my intermediate, that is +2 examinations in Andhra Pradesh. That's why I missed the opportunity, golden opportunity to be with Swami while Swami performing my brother's marriage. So I prayed, as a proverb is there, patience space, like that. Prayer space. I prayed like anything. Swami, I missed the golden opportunity. But I have to write my intermediate exams, +2 exams. So I missed the opportunity. I wrote the exams. And in those years, that was the last year, 1978 summer course was the last year to be as summer course student from representing a state. So I was selected by Swami from Andhra Pradesh team to be in 1978 summer course. And also Swami blessed my father to be his guest as Indian observer. So in the year 1978, month of May, I joined. I had been to Vrindavan to participate in 1978 summer course, and along with my father, we all the 30 days we stayed there. After that, my intermediate results were announced, and we prayed Swami. Then Swami blessed me to join his college in the year 1978. Brother Abhi, I request you to show the photograph which I shared to you. The 1978, a participant
Yeah.
from Andhra Pradesh. Yeah. Later,
Oh, that summer. Yeah.
78 summer course. And I am blessed by Swami to be there in that summer course. And as I said, complete water clone block was there, and all the facilities.
Wow.
This was the group photo of our Andhra Pradesh team. I was fortunate to be next to Swami on that day, final day. This is complete brothers and sisters of AP team. This was the badge given to me, summer course badge, student SAP 5, student of Andhra Pradesh. My roll number was 5. So I stayed in room number A6 on that particular summer course, all the 30 days. So like this, I joined Swami's college. So like
When you mentioned about summer
from
course,
early days of my life,
yeah,
Swami
in
was God.
1970,
Swami
sorry,
was Bhagavantudu, God. And this is the way my parents taught us. And they have brought us like that. So that God, Swami is God, Bhagavantudu, that fear is there in my mind. Fear in the sense, so when I say, when Swami is in Prashantnilayam, he is Sri Ramchandramurti. When Swami is to come to Brindavan, he is Natkat Gopal Krishna. So he is to play with all the Brindavan Gopabalas. And like that, Swami gave many chances to us, like all our brothers had in Brindavan. So mine was eighth batch of, while just now our Naveen brother showed the photograph, Satsai Arts Science College. Mine was Satsai Arts Science and Commerce College.
Commerce.
Okay.
So I have joined in BCom course there, and mine was our college was affiliated to Bangalore University. So I got my degree from Bangalore University. So this is the thing happened in that particular year, 1978. This is the way I came to Swami's college.
Naveen Bhaiya, just to go back to you,
Yes,
in 1972 when summer course started, it was,
yes,
the scenario was very different because everything was new.
yes,
So could you give us a little backdrop of behind the scene preparation for 1972 summer course?
yes. Obviously, Swami was the um, Swami had set up a committee of people who were overseeing the whole of the summer course. That was the first summer course, and within that, we had some very eminent people, educationalists, people like Dr. Gokak was there, and uh, quite a few other people, and people like us, the students who were still left at Brindavan. By the way, at that time it was a summer time, and at that time the colleges were all finished. They had finished their semesters, and they most of the students were on holiday. People like me who came from out of India didn't have anywhere to go, and we had pleaded with Swami that we wanted to stay with him, and he agreed with us that okay, we will stay, and we became part of organizing committee for the summer course. And 1972, when Swami organized the summer course, we became part of that. And our dormitory, our college lecture theaters, lecture rooms, and the laboratories were all taken over, such that they were made, spaces were made such that participants from out of India were given places to reside in those. And I believe the first year we had about 500 or just over number of students coming from all over India
I
participating
want
in a
people
summer
to
course.
I want people to know that for preparation of this program, how many students stayed back
We
to
were
do
only
that?
about we were only about 8 or 10 students who were left back, but
And when
most
the
of us.
candidates came, when the delegates came, where did Bhagwan put you all?
What we moved out of our dormitories, and we were put up next to Swami's bedroom. There was a lobby or a veranda. Sorry, yeah, it's a veranda, and we were sleeping in the veranda next to Swami's bedroom. So we were on the first floor in the bungalow. That was our place when the summer course was going on. And somebody like me who was assigned to duties of the electricity, looking after the electricity and the PA systems and things like that for the lecture hall, for the summer courses. We had some extra duties, and obviously, a lot of things we were involved in, continuously working for the summer course.
Because when people
Because
join to come to summer course, they won't know the behind the scene preparation. So I wanted them to get an idea about how did they stay. So you guys moved out, and in your shed, people stayed. There were 500 delegates, and they were parked, I believe, in labs.
in the laboratories, in the classrooms, in the main hall of the college, in the laboratories, as I said. And that is how everybody were accommodated. There were women's on one wing of the college administration building, and the other side where the laboratories were, and the our main hostel, or sorry, the dormitory hostel that was there. That's where the boys were put up. So that is how
And all the
it was.
infrastructure work was done by the 8, 9 boys who stayed back.
That's right. That was our job, along with the volunteers from the Bangalore Satisai Sevadal team.
Good. And how did Swami interact with you all in those days?
Basically, Swami was the direct contact with us. Even if we needed, if something needed to be done in, say, volunteers outside, he would send a message to us, and then we will dissipate to the volunteers outside, or Bangalore volunteers would. This is how they would come to know. Okay, things like, say suppose certain things needed to be organized within the big marquee where the summer course was held. We would The message would come to us, and we would then dissipate it to the volunteers. And we had a good rapport going on, not only with them, but some of the very eminent people like the chairman of the electricity board in the Bangalore Mysore division. He was Swami's devotee, but he would always come and stay with us in terms of when the things were going on, like when the talks were going on. We were made, we got extra grid of power supply from Hoskote. There was a Bangalore power supply, but there was Hoskote power supply also came through the Brindavan, such that when Swami was talking, there should be no interruption in Swami's talks. Besides that, the third option was I had made arrangements for batteries, car batteries. Where would I get the car batteries? From devotees' cars, request them for their batteries of their cars, and would use that should the power fail at any moment. Immediately jumped to the battery power, such that Swami's talks would not be interrupted. Swami said very clearly to me that the talk should not be interrupted. Should the power go, lights may go off, but our talks must not be interrupted under any circumstances.
Let me
And
fast forward to 1990
yes,
when the summer course actually was revived, I would say. So, Sainath, if you can throw a light on that movement, I think Ravi, you were also there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kumar, were you there in that?
Yes,
So please
absolutely.
share those moments when 1990s.
Absolutely.
How did
Summer
revive?
course.
Actually, we had a lot of fun. But Sainath, please share.
Yeah, I remember because summer course for some reason was stopped for a few years. And I think it was 1990, and the students, we were ready to write our end semester examination. So one night, the then Vice Chancellor, Dr. Saraf, the registrar, Mr. Chakravarti, and the controller of examination, Mr. Nanjundaya, they all walked into the hostel, apparently, to see whether the boys were studying or not. And yes, it was as usual, this pin drop silence. Everybody was busy with their books. We were in the middle of the exams. And Dr. Saraf and Mr. Chakravarti walked into my room all of a sudden. And Mr. Saraf casually called me out. This was in March 1990, and he called me out and he said, by the time already the announcement was made that the summer course is going to be revived, and it was also announced that the outgoing students were not eligible to come to the course. Unfortunately, I was in the outgoing batch. So I was in my final MSc at that time. As I was in the outgoing batch, it made me very depressed. And many of us, actually, Abhi, you were also my batchmate. Actually, I remember, we were all very depressed. He said, why? And when Swami came to the hostel, we all got together as a group, pleaded, and Swami also pleaded back. And he said, see, what do you want me to do? There's no place for so many people. I have to cater to, it's okay. We will see later. And, he kept quiet. Then Dr. Saraf called me out of my room that night and he said, Sai Natha, as you know, summer course is reviving. So we are going to have it very grandly because, this is the first one after several years. You should get ready with a good talk, because you will be one of the speakers. I said, sir, but I'm an outgoing student. And I was still very naive, when the vice chancellor comes and tells you, I should understand who is the voice behind him. I didn't understand. I was a
Oh, nice
very
one.
naive person, and I said, sir, but I'm an outgoing batch student. And Dr. Saraf looked at me very pityingly, I still won't forget that look. And he told me, you get ready by, we will see how to do, you get ready and come. And after the summer vacation was over, I went to Brindavan. We were all there. Abhi, Ravi Teja, Pallav, myself, and several of us outgoing batch students were there. And trust me, it was so grand. Swami had Sevadal from Bangalore, Swami had Sevadal from Andhra Pradesh, the planning, where mangoes had to come from, where the coconuts had to be come from. And there was Joy ice cream factory was near Whitefield at that time. I remember milk used to come from there every morning. Mr. Java used to send it every day. And there was a hilarious incident with it. One fine morning, we discovered that everybody was making a mad rush to drink coffee. Everybody was wondering, why this mad rush, and it was discovered that creamed milk, which they use for ice cream, was sent by mistake to the summer course, and coffee was made with that. So the coffee was tasting delicious, and so everybody was making a mad rush for the coffee. And Swami's interaction, every dining session he would come. The Anantapur girls would eat in the hall, which was there adjacent to Tri Vrindavan, and boys would eat in the dining hall in the hostel where we were staying. Swami would come for every dining session. Swami would wait till the Brahmarpanam prayer was chanted, then he would go around and then he would climb the steps and go exit and go back to Tri Vrindavan. So Swami's involvement was just amazing. And I particularly remember that summer course because, as per the instructions given, I was given a chance to address the gathering during the summer course time. And why I remember it very beautifully was that was perhaps Professor Jagan Mohan Rao and myself were giving a talk that morning in the auditorium. Swami attended the morning talk. I think that was the only morning talk he attended. Professor Jagan Mohan Rao and myself were giving a talk at that time. And Swami came to the talk. It remains a very memorable this thing. Another memorable incident I'll never forget was Swami wanted to basically, like Abhimanyu, you said, we were not writing the exam. Outgoing students at PhD scholars, we were just having a nice time basically. So, and I remember a few of us, we were actually translating Swami's discourse live. Swami would give a discourse, and within 1 hour, a summary of the discourse would come out. And we were working furiously. We would take down notes during Swami's discourse, translate it, give the summary, and we would give it out to the press and everybody else. And of course, we would also display it on the notice board. That was, I think, one of the opportunities for Seva which Swami gave, because many people benefited from those summaries. I still remember that. Of course, later we also translated the summer discourses, which were published in a book later. And Swami wanted to basically bless all the students who had worked for the summer course in the background. And we didn't know this. We were busy preparing the question paper for the next day. Mr. R. Subramaniam, maths teacher in Vrindavan, myself and Pallav and not Pallav, a few others were there working. All of a sudden, I was in a kurta and pajama because I had Swami was there in the auditorium at that time, Vrindavan hostel, and we were all in some very strange attires because none of us had dreams of going to the auditorium because the question paper had to be set the next day, and we suddenly heard our names being called. And we ran and we went, and in all kind of strange attires, in kurtas and pajamas and all. And the love of Swami, instead of disapproving, he was struggling to hide his laugh on the stage in front. He was struggling to control his laugh because he knew he had trapped us. Because nobody told us that Swami would be giving us, and we just came back. We were so embarrassed, and but Swami gave each one of us a pen. And which, yeah, I still treasure that pen with me. So that
Excellent.
involvement of Swami in the summer course was something just out of the world. How to
Ravi,
plan,
any
how to
memories of
execute.
yours?
Yeah, there is one very beautiful but somewhat personal memory, but I'll just quickly narrate it because that year was particularly special for me. Swami had asked me to speak in the evening before his discourse. And, while Swami keeps on engaging the mass, the groups, at the same time, he keeps on inspiring the individual and giving them memories, personal memories. So after my talk, I bent down to take namaskar. And as you know, the table is there before Swami's discourse. So I was bowing down to take namaskar. And when I put my hands on Swami's feet and was about to put my forehead on his feet too, Swami very quickly and very naughtily put both his feet above my two hands, and he locked my hands down between his feet and the footstool. So there was no way I could get up. And see, this is how Swami plays uh, with the individual and creates that effect in the public. So I could do nothing because I had to remain in that bowed position. But people in the audience, our classmates, many of the other students thought, hey, how can you take namaskar for so long? Aren't you sensitive to the fact that Swami has to speak, it's getting late and all that? And then I slowly made brave to look up at Swami, because it's a very odd situation, right? Your hands are locked, but you raise your head, and there was a twinkle in Bhagwan's eyes. And then, he said, legandi. And but he won't raise his feet. So he was saying, get up. And that created more of a misunderstanding with the people on the stage.
Yes.
They could not see. And then finally he lifted his feet and then gave me a tap on my head and said, good talk. So I think it was a very personal interaction, but for me it shows the nature of Swami's love. Even in a public event, he is constantly working to give us those sweet memories at a personal level.
I remember, Ravi, one day for January first time, one brother had go down to take namaskar, and Swami caught his nose with his finger, and we are boys are pushing him from behind to get up because there is a queue, and everybody wanted to take quick namaskar, and Swami also is telling him, yes, yes, get up, get up. So everybody is pushing, and this fellow is not getting up. And when he got up after some time, his nose was red, he was in tears. So people said papam, Swami said papam. So everybody thought that he must be really crying or something. And later on we realized that it was Swami who was catching him down. So
Yeah.
that is Swami's way of playing with the boys. Kumar, your good memory, anything? Join?
Absolutely, yeah.
Feel free to join.
Actually, yeah, sure. First of all, this is the first time. Thanks for this opportunity. Ravi Mariwala was my roommate in my first year in the hostel. So this is the first time we both are talking on the same forum. Thanks for the opportunity. By the way, summer course. 1976 was the first time my brother attended the summer course in Brindavan. So the first person in our family to go near Lotus Feet and live physically in Brindavan was my brother, Ravi. And then he came back and told stories as to how they spent time. But I used to wait as a student. So many years we stayed, right, Ravi? 1984 to 1990,
Yeah.
nothing is happening. No summer course. I also want to see what it is like. Then 1990 summer course. And then in the meanwhile, I'll narrate some musical ego about something. So, very first year I joined, the classical ego used to be there. Those who have learned classical, yeah, I know classical kind of a thing. And then I sang, Naghumo Moghanale Enina. That's what I sang in front of Swami in the hostel. And then after that, Shiva, 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 Yanarada. I used to expect Swami to tell me, oh, S. Kumar sings such good classical. And every time I used to expect and go near Swami, Swami will say, when you're singing, I'm not able to look at your face. Oh, and you're making such a face. You're so horrible in singing in terms of, I'm not able to look at you. So whenever I had this feeling that, Swami, please tell me that in front of 10 people that I've learned classical and I sing well. And then Swami will you're making faces, or he'll say you're not singing correctly, you're not something. Every time only negative comments. On that summer course day, I have so many years have gone by already, and then I got so fed up of my classical ego. I then sang finally one song, very easy, not very tough. Kanna என்றழைத்தேன் ராமா என்றழைத்தேன் எந்த பெயர் சொல்லி அழைத்தாலும் என் கண் முன்னே சாய் முகம் மட்டும் தெரியுதே. Means what? I keep calling the name of Krishna and Rama, but all that I see is Lord Sai's face in front of me. And that song, when I sang, it was very easy, like a 6 matra, like that, Rama, like that. It's very easy to kind of go with the song. And then after the summer course, Swami calls me and introduces me to all the playback singers, S. Janaki, Sushilama, Anjali Devi, and everybody, and tells, S. Kumar sang this song. How was it? Then she said, they all said, Swami, very nice. This is a song composed by Malaysia Vasudevan, but S. Kumar sang much better than Malaysia Vasudevan. So that's what he said, and I need to tag in. That was summer course memory, which taught me life that when we don't expect things happen with Swami, when we expect, nothing happens.
Yeah.
I'll just pause for a second. I want to throw a second question to our audience listeners. What was the first prayer that Bhagwan gave, and the only prayer Bhagwan gave to the university, the college, when it started? So what was the first prayer that college used when it started, and that was given by Bhagwan? So let me bring in Naveen Bhai again. Naveen Bhaiya, I believe fixing the routine, fixing the schedule of college was also done by Swami. And one
That's right.
of the thing was the moral classes.
Yes.
So can you tell something about that?
Yeah. As I said, the whole of the hostel routine was set by Swami himself. And he did it very independently, very, very democratically, should I say. In other words, saying, what time are we to get up and all this. Why do you want to get up at 3:30 in the morning? In Prashant, people get up at that time and disturb everybody. You don't want to do that. No. Get up at around 5 o'clock, 5:15. Do you think you can do your Suprapatham? Do you want to start doing Suprapatham? Bangalore is very cold at that time. Those days, the Bangalore used to be very cold. He said, all you need to do is that, okay, get up at about 5 o'clock. If you want to go and have a wash, just go and wash your face downstairs and come back and sit in your bed, because we didn't have any cots or anything like that. We had to roll our bedding and sit on the bedding, and then in front of Swami's photo, we would, Swami said, how are you people doing? What are you going to do that in the morning? Start with 11 omkars, and then before you do the omkar, you would do the breathing exercise, soham, and Swami himself demonstrated how we should do that. And then Swami demonstrated the whole thing. So, breathing out. And that's how he showed us. And then he said, starting the Supravatam, start the Supravatam, do the Supravatam. After that, sit in that position for a few minutes, and then go out and run for about 1.5 miles down the road to where that river is. This is the river I'm talking about, where it's near the Kotechuru. There is a river near the Stead farm. There's a small river brook that is going on. There's a bridge, and he says, if you feel tired, go and sit in there for a few minutes, and then run back from there, back into the hostel and straight into the shower. Dear brothers and sisters, those good old days, we did not have any hot water. We did not have solar power.
Wow.
All we had was cold, icy cold water that was coming to us. And he says, Swami said, go and have the shower in that cold shower. You will, I promise you, you will never feel ill. And to this day, I found that none of us felt ill when we took that icy cold shower. He says, when you come back running, take the shower and you'll start feeling warm. And obviously, that's exactly what happened. And then after that, we had our what time we would have a breakfast, and everything was logged in properly by Swami. It says, in between, Swami was very particular that we do not chat with each other a lot. And he says, once you have done that, once you have had your, you have washed yourself, take your books. Brindavan is big, the garden's big. Go and take your book.
Yes.
And what lectures are you going to go through today? Briefly browse through that lecture for today, and then do not study deep into it. When you have your breakfast at about 8:30 in the morning, once you finish your breakfast, 9 o'clock, you go to the college, attend the lectures, lunchtime, come back, have your lunch, and then in the afternoon, whether you got your lectures or laboratory work or whatever it is, go back. And in the evening, when you come back, just after coffee, it was very particular what time we have our coffee, afternoon coffee and all that sort of thing. Have coffee, and then once again, take your books and just loiter in the gardens with your books and just browse through today's lecture that's been given out to you. Do not study very deeply into it. And I promise you that if you follow this formula, this is Swami's words, if you follow this formula, none of you will fail the exams. At the end of the year, you don't have to sit in front of your books and cram all that and vomit it in the examination paper. Just do what I'm telling you, and I promise you, all of you will pass through the examinations. That's
I
what
remember
we used
Swami,
to do.
I remember Swami teaching us in 80s also about the same thing, that how discipline is very important. And if you really
Definitely.
regularly study, then you don't need. I recall one story from Vijay Bhaskar, a brother from your era,
Yes.
who actually unfortunately left us too early. He used to be serving the cows and work in the fields behind the bungalow.
That's
And I
right.
believe one day Swami went up on the terrace and called him, "Hey Vijay, come back. You have an exam." And he was working in the field. So he rushed back, and then he remembered that, oh, he had an exam. So he had not even prepared, and he got a gold medal for that. So
Yes.
I believe the discipline of Bhagwan creates the magic. Sai Nath, I would like to bring you here because when Swami started the school, colleges, that was his style, how involved he was in really creating the structure, and everything was really bare. But when the secondary school hostel came about, that time things were already settled. Did Bhagwan's approach change, or how was it? Since you were there, so you could share a light on that.
No, this was actually it's a good thing you brought it up, Abhi, because, it's actually a very interesting episode which is not very well known. When the plans for the secondary school hostel, now this is a new hostel which has come up between Ishwarama High School and the higher secondary school. When the plans were being drawn up for the hostel, what many did not know was that hostel was intended for PG and PhD students of the university. It was not intended for the school. It was actually
Oh,
Swami's idea was, yes, that Swami said because PG and PhD students wanted to stay up for a longer time, they had to do more research, project work. So the timings were a little odd. So Swami felt that, they needed to be given privacy, and there was a pressure from the authorities also that, we should create a hostel for them. So when the plans were drawn up, like it is done in all the universities everywhere, the original design saw that there were individual rooms with either a single or a double occupancy. All the rooms were single in the sense that the original plan was we should have individual PG students staying in PhD scholars in each room, one room to each person. And I remember I was there, Brother Dilip also was there at that time. When the plan was brought to Swami, Swami saw the plan and he said, Bagole, it is not good. So everybody who was seeing was stunned. They said, "What is this? It is so beautiful. Individual rooms, and with a cupboard, and like how a normal, typical PG hostel would be."
hostel should be.
And Swami said, "Bagoda." And people wondered to know why it is like that. Then Swami said, "మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోవాల్సిన విషయం ఒకటి ఉంది. హాస్టల్ అన్నది స్వామి ఎందుకు పెట్టారు? Why is it that Swami established the hostel? I want dormitories because I want to learn 3 important lessons by my students, which is going to be very useful for them when they go into the world outside. What are the 3 lessons? Adjustment, understanding. Third one is simplicity of living. If you give them individual rooms, they will never understand what is adjustment and what is understanding. If you pack so many comforts in the room in this stage of their life, they will never understand the meaning of simplicity of life. So that is why I want dormitories. Put all my students in dormitories. However big they are, they must learn to live simple. They must learn to adjust. They must learn how to understand each other. And I think every one of us experienced that many times in the room. We were 9 of us,
Yeah.
13 of us in some of the bigger rooms. And how difficult it was at times, with the different kind of mindset, ideologies, habits, adjusting. But that is all the life is all about, because that's exactly the situation Swami knew we would face in life. So it was the philosophy that was I never saw a stark exposition of this philosophy of why dormitories were preferred by Swami. Not that he couldn't afford good rooms for us. He could.
And I
He would
think,
have.
Saina, just to add to that, even when I and S. Kumar were in the same room, we were, I think, 13, 14 boys. And the beauty of what we experienced was a, a great degree of cooperation and collaboration. Something that we talk about today in work life, in when we interact in teams and groups. But,
Yes.
for instance, I think I was in my second year undergrad. Kumar brother was in his first year post graduation, and there were people doing PhDs. There were people younger than me. Everybody had examinations at different times. Somebody had a different event going on, but that sense of collaboration within the framework of hostel discipline was truly incredible. So I'm glad you brought
Uh,
it up, because
I
I
would
think,
actually, it's you bang on target, Ravi Marivala, the concept of sharing, caring, and all. If I can, I would like to share 2 particular instances when I later on joined the hostel back as a teacher. no, not as a student, but I went back as a faculty member after I completed my PhD. Because what Ravi just said triggered these two incidents. You know that in the summertime, the hostels used to have water problems because Puttaparthi is in a water dry area. So we used to have water problems there, and sometimes it was not unnatural to find that you are stuck without water in a very uncomfortable position. So I remember once I was waiting near the washroom for my turn to go and have my bath when I saw one of the students coming out. Now he had left behind a bucket filled with water, and I said, "You forgot your bucket." He said, "No, sir, I didn't forget the bucket. I left it there because somebody who comes might find it useful." So
Wow.
that kind of thinking for the others is something which I
Yeah.
think the hostel really taught us. Another instance was, as you well know, when I was in the hostel in the room, the photocopying room was next to my room. So, I could hear clackering, clanking sounds all the time, taka, taka, taka photocopying
So
going on.
much.
And it was particularly very busy, at the time at the end of the
In
semester where
exams.
project reports were being photocopied.
Yes.
So, and I used to keep awake quite late, going to see what is happening and talking to them sometimes, giving them company and all that. It was at this time that I remember physics department was conducting his end semester viva, and students were making their presentations of their projects. And first batch had completed that presentation on that day. So somewhere around midnight, the photocopying was still going on. I just went to take a look. I discovered that the same students who had completed their presentation were busy photocopying and binding. So I was surprised. I said, "Didn't you finish your work today?" They said, "Yes, sir, we are through. We have finished submitting our reports." I said, "Then what is this you are again doing?" Then this is the illustrative answer. They said, "Sir, this is for the batch that is going tomorrow." Because we finished our work, we sent them away to prepare. We didn't want them disturbed, with this kind of packing and preparing. So we are photocopying their projects, we are binding their books while they are busy studying.
But
So this
Sainath, you're
kind of,
lucky.
yeah.
I
You're
would like to,
lucky.
I would like
You,
you all to, I would like you all to share also how the whole hostel was managed and run by the students. I believe from 1969, ever since Swami initiated the hostel program, Naveen Bhai can initiate that he expected everything to be done by the students.
Yes.
Yes. As I've at some stage pointed out that Swami wanted this hostel that he had set up to be more like a Gurukula system, that the students manage everything by themselves. And so, what right from day one itself, Swami said, "Look, I'll get you a cooks to be cooking in the kitchen,
Do
but Swami will pay the cooks. But rest of the mess bill that comes up, you buy the grains, rice, etc. Um, you, for your benefit, you need to share the expense that you go through. And for the first time, the hostel produce that we needed to buy, Swami gave me about 1,000 rupees or something like that. He said, "Tomorrow go down into Bangalore city and buy these provisions for the hostel." And then what you do is that at the end of the month, you collate all the expense that you've gone through and divide that amongst the number of hostelers that you have. And then tell everybody this is the expense that you've gone through. And all the students are to contribute towards that. Those who cannot contribute, don't worry about it. It will be sorted out. And that is how Swami wanted us to do that. So we were managing our own economics, our own finances as well.
So he gave you the
Basically, Swami,
responsibility also. Huh?
that's right. Swami said, "Look, I want you to learn this, all of you to learn this, that you will be going out into this wide world. At that time, you need to know the economics. Until now, when you were home, your parents were looking after you and sorting all those things out for you. But now you're outside, you're going out into the wide world. That time, you need to know how to economize yourself or look after the funding, finance of yourselves as well." So that was inculcated from the day one with us by Swami himself. But Swami did stress that I could pay for everything for you. but I want you to learn these things. He says, Swami can do everything for you, but I want you to learn this. Swami
I
could have
remember
done
we
that.
all had work distribution, right? Of course, sweeping and mopping the rooms were done by each one of us. But other than that, we were also allocated like
Ves-
gardening, plumbing,
vegetable cutting,
electrical. So were
vegetable
you a
cutting,
part of anything? Vegetable cutting, yeah.
making
Yes.
chapatis.
Kumar, were you part of anything? Kumar, your microphone is muted. Yeah,
I have
Emmalin, please.
first time I made chapati, it was like India map. Then slowly, I made chapatis like full moon without any cracks and anything. Vegetable cutting, chapati rolling, and frying, helping other brothers, everything. When once one incident I want to tell, when our brother, elder brother Abhi,
Naveen.
Naveen.
Naveen brother told, cold, very cold in winter. Very winter is very cold in those days. Every
Yes.
Sunday we used to go to Nagar Sankirtan. One Sunday to Kadugodi village, one
Yes.
Sunday to Beltur village.
Beltur, yes.
Beltur village. So this particular 1979 winter was very cold. Normally we say Swami's love is thousand mothers love. No, it's not thousand. There is no count for Swami's love on each and every one. That particular winter, Swami instructed, ordered, blessed all the students to do Nagar Sankirtan from hostel building to Swami's bungalow. I think you might have.
Okay.
I think you might calculate the distance.
Yeah.
Just 500 meters only.
Yeah.
That too, covering all of us with blankets. From the hostel building to bungalow building. That's all. Then Swami is to give the darshan, early morning darshan, Aarti, Nagar Sankirtan Aarti. In this
I
connection,
remember Naveen by telling that he would
yeah,
send boys to the village first and then he gives them
yeah,
incentive that if
uh,
you go and do bhajans, bring them. When you come back, I will give you darshan. So imagine coming back in the morning and getting a darshan. So the
That's
whole
right.
village started coming to Mandir for darshan.
That's that's
yes,
how we
Yeah.
started. We started the Nagasan Kirtan on Sundays,
yes, yes,
going to Beltur village.
yes,
And then we did that. And next
yeah,
following week, Swami said, look, teach them how to clean the streets as well. So we were
oh,
cleaning the gutters as well. And
yes,
we just started that. And since then, we had noticed that the villagers themselves started keeping their vicinity clean by
yes,
themselves. And they joined us in the Nagar Sankirtan. And all of
yes,
them joined us and followed us back into Brindavan, where
yeah,
Swami would
yes,
come up in the balcony to give this beautiful darshan. And many
yes,
of them had noticed Swami with a big halo around his head.
exactly,
Many
yes,
of them had noticed this, and
yes,
it's a sight to see. And Swami said that is at that time Swami has got tremendous energy that is effulging, that is glowing, that is going
Beautiful.
around the world. Because you are
three,
singing the bhajans, everybody is in that same tune, and you are
yes,
Amen.
spreading that love to everybody.
I
three
guess
bhajans
that was a
Swami,
starting. I guess that was a
three
starting point
bhajans
for Nagar
Swami is,
Sankirtan and boys service project.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
three bhajans Swami is to give weight to give darshan on the balcony. One is
Yes.
आओ आओ साई प्यारे. This is one. Immediately Swami is to give darshan.
Ah,
Morning, Nagar Sankirtan time. Then one more bhajan. दर्श दिखाओ मेरे साई नंदलाला, दया करो मुझे कृष्ण गोपाला, देवकी नंदन दीन दयाला, मधुरानाथ मदन गोपाला.
so do you remember the third
Saina,
bhajan,
this
sir?
third bhajan. Uh, I'm not getting that. I'll just
That's okay.
later. Later. Yeah, that third
Yeah,
one.
I just want to add one more story to the hostel.
Please, please
Um,
go
Sure.
ahead.
See, the thing is, Swami taught us Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavidvi Shavahai. What is the meaning? Swami wanted us to come together, learn together, reach together. So what everyone had one skill. So hostel days, I had never known how to make a ketchup, tomato ketchup. So
Oh,
Deepak Kaildas, who was excellent in cooking from his childhood, he taught us how to make. That was our class project in our postgraduate time, second year in MSc. So he taught us how exactly to make ketchup in the whole hostel, and we provided along with cutlet and ketchup. We made. We always knew only ketchup was bought from any of the Kissan companies or something like that. But for the first time, we learned how to make ketchup. And then another incident is the little one is, none of us were really dancers when we joined hostel. Abhi Kaul is an excellent Bhangra dancer. You should have seen him dance those days. It was amazing. I mean, so Swami made everyone dance. All the PG boys should dance, all kinds of sizes and, tall to short. There was something like, we want to do something in front of Swami to go near Swami. So very first year, Ravi, remember, we did Koli dance, row, 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 a boat kind of a thing. I did that so that I can be in the front. And that's on that day only, Swami, Nandagopal sir told, so ask Swami for permission to sing. And that is, imagine, one leads to another in front of Swami. That has made my life for the first time to sing in front of Bhagwan, where I sang the bhajan, Daya Karo. That's all I wanted to say.
Sing it. Sing it for a funful line, please.
Oh. Daya Karo He Karuna Nidhan Sai तुम हो दाता दया करो तुम हो साईं कृपा करो प्रभु तुम साईं अंतर्यामी प्रतिपुरी भगवान प्रतिपुरी भगवान तुम हो दाता दया करो. That was my first bhajan in Puttaparthi at the Lotus Feet in the bhajan hall. The
What a
day Swami
memory.
permitted me.
What a
Thank you for
memory,
that.
Sai Nath,
Kumar.
you had something regarding service.
Yeah, when Naveen Bhai was explaining and Swami sir were explaining about how Swami expected each one of us to basically involve ourselves in these service activities. It began with the hostel service departments. I remember that when during my times of my PhD days and these things, I actually used to look up the hostel stores and the fruit stall department. And always it was that what is this in this service departments. For example, let's take the sick ward food department that used to prepare food for sick students, or the dispensary department or the general stores departments which would go make the purchases, bring it so that we could make sure that all the students were well equipped with their daily necessities. It was all about caring, it was all about giving. I'm recollecting one particular instance, about you all know that during the bhajan and other festival days, Swami would have students distribute prasadam to everyone. Now, this was an experience narrated by one of my brothers, and Swami would insist that the students should get up and take up the prasadam distribution after every function. It was not left to the Sevadal or anyone. They were there to assist, but Swami would insist that students should do it. So one day Swami called the students inside and he asked them, do you know why I give you these opportunities to serve? Now, this is exactly the service departments in the hostel. Also, their motto is to serve. So Swami asked this question, why do you think I give you these opportunities to serve? The Swami said, you will shortly leave the institution. You will go into the society and you will assume favorable positions, big positions, where you can influence others. I want you to realize the joy of giving and caring. So I want you to realize the joy that you get when you care for others, when you give selflessly to others, that is why I make you do this seva activities. So whether it is the service departments in the hostel, the Grama Seva, which none of us can forget actually, the kind of bliss and joy we used to come back with after a hearty day's work. And the kind of prasadam distribution, all these things have that underlying principle for Swami. Let us realize the joy of giving and caring. So I think that was the basic principles why Swami insisted that students should do their own work in the hostel, because all these things were for others. None of it was for ourselves. So that's, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah.
Ravi, you want to say something? Because I
Yeah,
remember
very
Swami once
quickly.
telling that the way you are distributing sweets here, you are doing service. Bhagwan said, one day he made a statement that I make you all do that so that you can get some benefits, some merits, so that in your need, time
Yeah.
of need, I can give you multifold of what you have given as a service to others. So a little bit of service gets expanded, and God finds an excuse to interfere in our karmic bondages and give us more blessings. What a
So
divine
true.
master. Yes, Ravi, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, in every activity that we participated, the culmination of that was that we got something from Swami. Of course, that enticed us to do more, do better. Like for instance, when I came to the hostel, there were a smaller number of boys in 1982. So I was attracted to join the Veda chanting group. And when Swami would come to the hostel, which was very frequent in those days, we would form a procession and lead Swami into the hostel across the quadrangle. So I mean, it started like that, and eventually I of course landed up in different set of activities. Like I love to serve food in the canteen, in our kitchen and in the dining hall. And as being a little bit broad shouldered, some of the seniors, Jayant and others, they said, hey, come on man, you should not be going first to eat, you should be coming to help us. So I would go into the kitchen and help them load those massive vessels onto the trolley, and then bring the food out. But initially it started like that, but what I found is it gave me so much joy to stand there, and as boys went past the table, to keep on putting a ladle of rice or a spoonful of chutney or sambar on their plate, and you just wanted to continue doing service. There is something very beautiful about giving, that Swami introduced us to that joy right there in the hostel.
It's true, actually, very true. Let me, since we have already crossed our time limit, but I wanted to bring it to a closure with few questions to all of you, especially post Bhagwan's physical departure, if I may put it like that. Things have been, quite emotional but different, and personally we have gained a lot, so that even today we don't, feel the distance, even though we can't see him physically, but he's there with us all the time. So I would like to have a quick word from all of you. How was your transition when you left college, and especially when Bhagwan left the physical realm? So how was your transition period? And did you anything change in your life? Is it becoming different? I don't know. So why don't you all feel free to share? So anybody can start. Naveen bhai, anybody. How was the transition? How will you describe your transition after the student life and after Bhagwan's physical departure?
In my case, 1974, and coming to the end of 74, Swami sent me to UK to work alongside the UK organization, SSSHIL organization, and be part of the organization. And that's what I did. Because Swami, the way Swami has trained us in Prashantini, in Vrindavan, is a wholesome. So the outlook is totally whether we need help in the seva, whether we need the spiritual, we are all geared for that, or the Balvikas as well. So that is where Swami wanted us. And that is how I came into the Satsang organization. Initially, I joined the organization, or Swami sent me here for that purpose, besides being my professional career that I continued here. I was working with the Satsang organization for so many years, very closely, became the regional chair. From the center chair, very quickly grew into the regional chair. Had the national service coordinators post, national spiritual coordinators post, just to mention a few of them. But besides that, in the UK at that time, when I came, there was no seva done outside the Satsang organization. And I saw an opportunity to do one within our city of Leicester. I went into the mental health institution where none of the Asian communities would go into or do any of such seva. Other people would do it in a very small way. I got our Sevadal members who were within the Sai organization to go into the mental institution and be friend with these people, the members or the residents of the
Naveen
institution.
Bhaiya, since you left, how was your physical connection with Bhagwan? Because in 74 till, you were very
Yeah.
close to him. You actually lived in his mandir in bungalow. And
Yeah.
when you left, how was the physical contact?
But you see, departing from Swami in 74 was extremely difficult. But according as per Swami's instructions, I left. And so many times, regularly, I used to come and visit Swami. I got married, and Swami blessed my wedding. Since then, I had 3 children. Every year, I used to take them to Swami, and Swami blessed them, all 3 of them. The second son, Swami cut his hair as the first hair cutting. The eldest son, Swami drew Om for him on his slate and blessed them. And my daughter also, Swami blessed it. So all 3 children have grown up in the Sai way, Sai family, and they've
So
attended
basically,
the Balvikas.
as a student, only expanded when you left back, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Let me come
and-
back to you for the other question. Let me finish the round and then I'll come back for the second half. So, Brother Swami, Emmalin Swami.
Yes.
So, how was your transition when you left the college?
As Naveen brother told, I am also associated with the organization since my birth. And afterwards, after leaving Swami's college, and after Sairam,
Yeah, carry on.
Sairam, after leaving Swami's college, I started doing service activities in Hyderabad. I was blessed by Swami to participate in our alumni activities, medical camps. Now, every 4 months, we used to conduct medical camps there in Bharti. So I'm also back in Hyderabad, I was blessed by Swami to serve as a Samiti convener, and as well as the Telugu programs. Radio Sai Shivam Digital Studio was inaugurated in the year 2006, and I was taken charge of making Telugu programs from Hyderabad Shivam Digital Studio to be sent to Prasanthanalayam Digital Studio to broadcast in Radio Sai. And now, since 2000, I am blessed again to serve as Hyderabad District Spiritual Coordinator. So with all these doing activities and going to each and every place telling about Swami's Sai Mata, that's what I normally do this. And also I'll sing songs, Telugu songs. And I'll for
I
Jan
know we
first
don't
prime.
have time to hear your Burrakatha stories. So maybe I have to regroup everybody to hear more stories about Burrakatha and all that.
Burrakatha, I will leave. The Telugu song I'll sing because it's very touching. And the Telugu song, if you just 2 minutes, it will take.
You sing and Sai Natha will translate for you.
Okay, then. Sai Ram. I'm not a classical singer like our brother Kumar, but with Swami's
Okay.
blessings, with Swami's blessings, I sing bhajans. That's all. Anutanu hai, వినుటను హాయి అనుటను హాయి వినుటను హాయి మనసుకు హాయి మననమే హాయి 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 శ్రీ సాయి నామము ఎంత హాయి నీ నామగానము అనుటను హాయి వినుటను హాయి ఎంత మధురమో ఎంత మధురమో ఇంత మధురమా సాయి నామము ఎంత మధురమో ఎంత మధురమో ఇంత మధురమా సాయి నామము ఇంత మధురమౌ నామముండగా ఆ ఆ ఇంత మధురమౌ నామముండగా వంతల పాలై వ్యధ చెందితినే అనుటను హాయి వినుటను హాయి ఇంత
Excellent.
మధురమని ముందే తెలిసిన ఇంత అధోగతి పాలై ఉందునే కొంతవరకు మేలాయను మిథ్యా ఆ కొంతవరకు మేలాయను మిథ్యా భ్రాంతి తొలగెను క్రాంతి కలిగెను అనుటను హాయి వినుటను హాయి మనసుకు హాయి మననమే హాయి 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 శ్రీ సాయి నామము ఎంత హాయి నీ నామగానము అనుటను హాయి వినుటను హాయి సాయిరామ్.
Thank you, brother, so much.
Sairam.
Sai Nath,
Sai
please give us a summary.
Yeah. I'll just give a quick, brief description. Okay, so the language is so beautiful. Translating it exactly verbatim is going to be difficult, but I'll just give a quick gist. Factor and listen to his name is such a solace. Contemplating his name brings so much peace. O Lord Sai, singing your glory gives such peace. When we have such a sweet name to abide by, why should I succumb to worldly pursuits and suffer ill health? If only I had known how sweet your name indeed is, I would never have allowed myself to suffer such a downfall. But now, with the support of your name, I have studied myself to some extent. I am liberated from illusions. I can see the light of wisdom. To utter his name and listen to his name is indeed such a solace. Sir, I hope I have done justice at least a little bit to what you have.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Brother
Sai-
Ravi,
So it's a beautiful
please,
song.
your
Sai-
thoughts.
Sairab,
Yeah.
Sairab.
Yeah, I was, very fortunate that even during the year I was finishing up my MBA, Swami had this plan to set up the new hospital. So, sometime in 1990, he started calling me and another of my juniors, Bharat Dutt, and he gave us over 45 interviews, telling us that he would send us to the US for training, and that we would be the first employees of the hospital. And eventually it transpired that Swami selected 5 of us and sent us to New Delhi to All India Institute of Medical Sciences. But it's not with a sense of pride, but a sense of gratitude to Swami, that we could be the Sai students could form the first core team of this great temple of healing. As you know, there is no other free hospital, and I don't say the word free in a light way. To do cardiac surgery in Puttaparthi, even if it was not free, would be a huge challenge. But Swami did cardiac surgery in Prashanti Nilayam completely free of any sort of associated charges, whether it is laboratory, testing, blood donation. None of these things were charged. And at some other time, when you arrange the next session, Abhimanyu, it is worth dwelling on what it meant for us as Sai students, who, of course, we looked up to Bhagwan because he was our hero, and we looked up to him. But what it was, when you ask this question about how did you transition from a student who loved Bhagwan but didn't have any experience about the world, how we made that transition to be his employees, to interact with outsiders, professionals, doctors and nurses, but to carry on that mission focus within our hearts and to work for him. So I was lucky to be one of the first employees to see how the hospital came up, to participate in the growth of various departments, and then finally, to see the impact that the Sri Satya Sai Hospital had on society. So I think these are very, it's just amazing that I feel like the squirrel who had that little chance to participate in Sri Rama's mission, right? And then Sri Rama touches the back of the squirrel and caresses it, giving the squirrel credit for the small offering that the squirrel made. So that's our story, but at some other time, we can talk about that.
I know there's so much to share because, as you mentioned, he not only used the students or anybody in that, but how he personally was guiding each and every one in not
Yes,
only
yes,
creating the programs, training, and hand
yes,
holding literally for everything.
yes.
So thank you, Ravi.
Thank you.
Kumar,
Yes,
please jump
sure.
in. Hmm.
Actually, one of those from the chat window, one of the devotees was mentioning as to how when we were living in the hostel, the first sign of Swami's going or coming in his car is the Sai Gita used to make loud noise. So somebody mentioned about it. Please mention that. So that Swami used to say, please follow Sai Gita. She is more devoted to me than all of you. She knows when I'm coming much far. So that is a lesson which I had to really listen to Swami to take from, where even if we leave Swami physically, what is that we need to be fine tuning ourselves with? Because Swami's physical, initially Swami gives us, the kind of, encouragement physically every day, every is I'm talking. But how long can we expect this? There are so many other devotees coming and going. So I realized that this phase is going to change from the pampering to remotely watch Swami. So it's going to change. We knew. So the point which I learned was when I was leaving Swami's portal, I knew that we have to carry Swami in our own heart. And then Swami had proved in multiple times that whatever I'm thinking, he's speaking to me. Hey, you know what? Hey, that's where Swami is now. I know where you are. I know you're in my heart. Every thought of mine is known to you. So for me, you have become my friend, eternal friend, which actually allows me to carry me with myself. And that's how when I went to Chennai or came to US, the activities in US, I never expected it to be so much. The devotees carried me everywhere, and Swami showed Swami that Swami is like this in this part of the world. And now we know the real Swami is everywhere. And then that is how we are only, like what Ravi said, we are just the squirrels who got some credit from Swami, but We are nobody. He is everywhere, and we are all in his world. And then we are carrying Swami in our heart.
Excellent.
Yes.
Sai Nath.
Yeah, it's a kind of difficult to manage without the physical form. I must admit that. Though at the same time, I do also know that throughout my stay there in Bhatti with Swami, what he was genuinely trying to teach us all along, like Kumar sir also just mentioned, was to look at the real Swami. And the real Swami, which he always emphasized, was with us, around us all the time. So wherever we go. So I think everything he was trying to teach us ultimately was basically leading us to look at the real Swami and not get attached to the physical form. I remember once we had this topic of conversation where one of us actually openly asked Swami, that Swami, if Nirakara is the one which you want us to actually get attracted to, then why is it that you come in the Sakara and make us so enticed towards this form? And this was a very private discussion, incidentally, which we were having inside. And Swami said, see, if most of you do not comprehend the unfathomable. So the starting step, like LKG, UKG, you have to begin with the form. So once you start worshipping the form and learning from the form, you start to listen to this form and you start to look beyond the form. That is what I'm expecting from each one of you. So ever since then, I would always try to imagine that it is more important for us to feel that wherever we are, Swami is there with us, rather than seeing that Swami is there and we have to be with him. So the feeling that wherever we are, Swami is there with us actually helps us to never step wrong. And this is a very important aspect because I recollect one of the brothers was asking me, what is the advice that Swami has given you, sir, when you were there with Swami? And I would like to share this very much because it happened. Abhi, I think you were also in the interview. Swami was giving the... I'm telling you this. So remember, Swami used to give all the outgoing batch students interviews regularly. Our batch was particularly best with, I think, at least 5 to 6 interviews, wherein with each interview, the number of students kept coming down. One of the interviews, Sanjeev Borbora asked Swami that, Swami, so many years you have lived at us with so much of love. You have taught us so many things. You have given us so many opportunities to be with you. Tell us how we can use all these teachings and love to change the world. This was the question. How can we use all these to change the world? And Swami gave a very shocking answer. It actually burst a bubble. His answer was, do not even bother changing the world. You will fail miserably. He said, you will fail miserably. That changing the world is not your job. That is the avatar's job. That is why the avatar descends. So then we came back to the question, then Swami, why teaching us? Why disciplining us so much? Why giving us so much of love? Why teaching us so many things and so much of care? Then Swami said, that's because I want only one thing from you. You have to live an ideal life. You have to live an ideal life so that others around you should get inspired by seeing you. So basically our work is very clearly cut out. What we have to stand there is as an ideals. We have to make our lives ideal so that others get inspired to emulate us. That is what Swami is expecting us. We should not become the moral and ethical custodians of this world. That is not our job. That is nowhere near our job. We have to set an ideal by ourselves becoming ideal life. That is what which Swami has been teaching us, how to lead an ideal life.
I recall, I recall a story Swami had mentioned about, Krishna's departure from this world. And he mentioned that in the final days, Yadavas fought themselves and they killed themselves. And that news spread very far and wide. And Arjun and what is the minister's name?
Uddhava.
No, not Uddhava. The minister Sanjay. Of Kaurava.
Sanjay.
Not Sanjay. Sanjay? No, not Sanjay. The minister. There was. Oh God.
Now, who's minister?
The Kaurava's minister. The minister of Hastinapur.
Vidura.
Vidur. Arjun and Vidur. they both left for Mathura in search, because they were concerned that in that messy fight, Krishna should not be hurt. You know, the devotees' heart is like that. And it seems when they come, by a time there is a huge massacre and the whole Yadava clan was like killed. They killed each other. And they were searching Krishna all over the place. And they went into different directions. So Vidur went, and he went into a forest area, and he happened to find Krishna lying under the tree. And that was the time when Krishna had decided to depart. So when he sees Vidur, he stops himself, because he says he feels that he should not do that in front of him, otherwise he'll make a mess of noise, you know. So Vidur said, Lord, we have found you, we are very happy. Let me call Arjun, because he's like desperately looking for you and he'll be happy to see you. And he runs to call Arjun. And when he gets him, by the time they come back, Krishna is gone. They didn't find him. And that is the end of Krishna. That's how Swami concludes the story. And he says, because of that incident, Arjun loses the confidence. He feels as if Krishna has gone, has left his life. And all that self-confidence which Arjun enjoyed all his life, he loses in an instant. And the biggest story came up when Arjuna had to carry the royal ladies to some place, and in the middle he has to fight and protect them from local bandits. And Arjuna could not do that. And Swami takes up that example and he says, do you know why he could not? Then somebody geniusly replied, Swami, maybe he forgot all that, knowledge. He says, no, he was still capable. He had that Gandev. He was still capable, but he thought Krishna to be the body, and he thought Krishna left him. It is not wrong that you get attached to the body, because that is good. But considering God to be the body is the problem. So if you stop yourself with the body, then the departure of body makes you feel helpless and abandoned. Whereas Arjuna should have not thought like that. And when you feel that my Swami is mine, he is the most powerful, and he is always with us, in us, around us, then the strength and the power would always be with you. See, beautiful illustrations. So, brother, final word before we conclude. I would like each one of you to say at least few lines, or one line or two. What is the message that you feel you would like to convey, or you have absorbed from the master, that allows you to live with this passion, with this joy in your heart for everybody? One message that you have imbibed, that you have felt, that is yours, and you'd like to share with everybody. Naveen Bhaiya, you can start.
Well, in my case, I feel that Swami is with us always, and whatever I do, I place it at Swami's lotus feet each evening. That is my seva to Swami. Whether I serve others or whatever I do, and if I serve others, I treat them as though they are my own. And the other way I look at it is that how I would like to be treated, I treat the other people that way. So that is how I take that message from Swami. Sai Ram.
Thank you. As Kumar.
Kumar.
Oh, sorry. Swami, please go on. No problem.
As a Balvihar student, I was taught like this. Suchinchi acharinchi acharimpa Baba raka karanam bhakta kotiki pavanam Sai Baba raka karanam bhakta kotiki pavanam దివ్యానుభూతిని పొందే విధానము సూచించి ఆచరించి ఆచరింపచేయుటే. This is, we have to follow whatever Swami asked us to do, we have to do, and samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Sai Natha.
Sai Ram.
Sai Natha, you are blocked. Sorry, you are muted.
Sairam?
Okay. So the translation roughly goes like this: to indicate, to follow, and to set
Yes.
an example. That is the reason why the Sai Avatar has descended and give a divine blissful experience to one and all.
Yes.
Sir, okay?
Amazing.
Sure.
Sairam.
Yes, S. Kumar. Yes, please.
Sairam Abhi. Yeah. Uh, there are two sides to this. Humko tumse pyar kitna, sai tum hi jante, which means Swami knows how much love we have for him. That's not our job. Our job is to find out how much we love him. So my expression, which I would always say in all my talks, is I always consider Swami to be my friend and talk to him every silly thing. I'm feeling hungry to, I need to go to the bathroom. Please find a bathroom on my freeway, wherever I'm driving. To anything big. Swami, I need to do this job well in my work, or I need to do this talk well today. Everything I kind of talk to him always, like all the time, and then just take care of it. I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm not a great speaker, but I want to speak to share your thoughts. So basically, take him along like a person who will do. I outsource everything to him. That's my approach.
Excellent. Ravi.
Yeah, very quickly. I think the one memory that we all have of our time with Swami is that he gave us lot of joy, lots of joy. Everything was fun, frolic, and joy when we were around Swami. And Swami used to tell us, I like Manasik Puja, which means worship me now within. So today you are in Prashanti Nilam, you are in the interview room, Swami is in the interview room. Tomorrow, Prashanti Nilayam should be in you. Interview room should be in you. Swami should be in you. So I think for me, the message has been that you really try to internalize that bhakti that we had for Swami, so that the same joy that we found when we were around Swami, we start to discover that joy within ourselves. And I think clearly I see that happening both amongst the devotee community and the student community. I think that's all we have to do, deepen and discover that wonderful joy within us.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Ravi. Sai Nath.
Uh, I would like to basically share with an incident, if it's okay. I'll keep it short.
Sure.
Uh, Recently, I think all of us saw the bronze statue that was installed in the Prashant Nilayam Mandir. Uh, in
Yes.
2002, I remember we got a message from Mr. Chiranjeevi Rao that something was arriving from Vrindavan. Swami was in Vrindavan at that time, and Swami was sent word that something was arriving and that it should be unloaded by Dilip and me inside Ponchandra Auditorium. So Dilip was stuck in the hospital, so he called me and said, "Sai Nath, can you handle?" So I went to PC and we saw about 15 to
Sai
20
Nath,
safe.
just for the audience, Dilip
Yeah.
is another brother who was studying with us. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were waiting, and I found about 15 to 20 Sevada lifting something very heavy and coming. It was obviously very heavy. And so accordingly, we got it unloaded, we got it unpacked, and I discovered that it was this bronze statue of Bhagwan. To be fair, it had exquisite workmanship. That sculpture, bronze, the artisan, whoever has done it, had done a very good job of capturing Swami's facial features, but none of us were happy. So, for obvious reasons. So, a couple of days later, Swami arrived from Vrindavan and Brother Dilip was there. Swami asked Brother Dilip, "Did it come?" He said, "Yes, Swami, it has come." "How do you like it?" Silence. Then he came down and we showed him, "Swami, it is there." Then he went and he saw, "Chala bagundi. It is so nice." No response from either Brother Dilip or me because frankly we didn't like it. So but Swami, he said, "Didn't you like it?" Because we were silent, and we said, I took up the courage and I told Swami, "We are not happy." And Swami said, "Why?" And then we told Swami, "When you are there amongst us, you're walking with us, you're talking with us, you're giving us so much of bliss, why should this statue come in?" And then Swami said, I believe that was perhaps the first time I heard Swami talk about leaving his physical form. And he looked very deep into my eyes, and the brother Dilip was standing next to me, and he said, "Now this form is there. What happens when the form leaves? Oh, what will you do? This is the statue you have to see at that time." So then we said, "Swami, that's a very long way off." Swami said, "How long?" Then I took courage and I said, "Swami, you said 96 years." Then Swami looked at us and he said, "If I can decide that I can stay for 96 years, I also have the power to decide when I should go."
Yes.
We said, "Yes." And Dilip, he became even more this thing. He said, "Swami, if you can decide when you have to go, please decide for more than 96, not less than 96."
Yes.
And Swami looked at us. "It is not as easy as you think. There are several things I have to look at. But remember one thing. If you see the bronze statue as a sculpture, you will get all these doubts. That Swami's physical form is there, Swami's physical form is not there, and not that. But if you contact the real Swami within you, this physical structure will be nothing for you." That message was delivered so powerfully for me. That coupled with what I shared a few minutes back, that Swami expects us to be as ideals. So these two are the carry-away messages for me always. 2008, I left Prashant Lemanta Swami's explicit instructions to look after my father, who was ailing at that time. But these two have always tried to remember. It's very important that we feel Swami's presence with us wherever we are, number one. And number two, when we feel that, we automatically start to live our lives as per what he taught us out of so much of
Yes.
love. So we become ideals for others. So that, tomorrow, any comment that is passed on us, it's traced back to Swami and the institution. And we should not let that happen. So it's important as students and as devotees that we should be standing as ideals based on what Swami taught us. That, I think, is the greatest message I have tried to carry away with me.
Yes.
I want to really conclude by saying one thing that, if we, is my personal feeling and humble submission, that if world wants to learn from a persona like an avatar, Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba, it is sometimes better that we take him as guru on a physical human level and imitate him, follow him, rather than put him only as a divine God and lock him in the altar. Because whatever he has done in life is very practical, a hard work. He has really worked hard for all his human life. Every single minute, every single day of his life, he has sweated it out, hand holding each and every devotee of his, every student of his. He has worked day in and day out only with one single goal, to make us realize our own true self. And that is why it's important that to follow our master, we look at him not just as God. The God is in our heart, but to follow him by looking at him from that angle. So, in conclusion, I would request Kumar brother to sing Humko Tumse Pyar Kitna as a concluding song. I'm sure devotees will close this session with that beautiful feeling in their heart.
Sairam, before I sing, I just want Sai Nath to narrate a little story behind as to how the song came up.
Thank you for giving me the cue, Kumar sir. Actually, this song has a very interesting preamble. As you very well know, those were very difficult times for the devotees, and more so for the students who were being blamed for many things, which Swami, for some reason, chose to keep quiet, but he was very hurt about it. And but students, we were very worried that we were not making Swami happy, and for some reason, Swami appeared to be upset with us. So it so happened that one day, one of the faculty members of the institution came up and they said, "Guru Purnima," it was being celebrated in Poonchandra Auditorium, and students were all gathered there. We know the routine. Swami comes out, gives darshan, sits down, and then the music program or whatever it is begins. This time, the students prayed that we should have a deviation. And that was, we wanted to sing this song, Humko Tumse Pyar Kitna. it was a conglomeration of so many things. I think, as Kumar sir, you composed the Telugu part of the tune.
Yes.
Shailesh wrote the Hindi part. Satish Babu wrote the Telugu, what do you
Lyrics.
call, lyrics. And it was set to music by Shailesh, and with the various, it was a total effort, and students practiced with their heart in it. So we wanted a change, and that was, we had to ask Swami's permission that, Swami, the moment you come out for darshan, even before anything, we want to burst into this song. A very dangerous thing to do at that time, considering the situation and, considering the general mood around. And, how to explain it? Brother Dilip didn't know Telugu properly, so he told me, boss, you only have to do it. I was biting my nails. I was, how to tell? We don't know how Swami is going to react. So I was gulping, chanting Sai Ram, and Swami came down from his room, and I was standing alone there. Swami, and he said, what happened? I said, Swami, students and prayers, we all have a prayer. Then Swami asked, what happened? I said, Swami, there is a song which we have prepared exclusively because we want to pour our heart out to you. Swami, it is important because, we need to convey to you what we are feeling. Swami, we want your permission to sing it. Swami said, sing. I said, Swami, but we want to sing it the moment you appear on the stage. Swami said, do it. I said, oh, so easy. I was imagining all kind of scenarios, and this was none of the scenario matched with this. Swami said, do it. Then Swami said, I was listening to all your practices. You are all boys are singing from the heart. That's why go ahead and do it. Don't listen to what anybody says. You go ahead and sing it. I literally took 3 steps at a time, went running. Brother Dilip understood that Swami had said yes. The joy was evident. Both of us ran out and we were there. The teachers were there and they ran in turn. And, and the outpouring of love, Humko Tumse Pyar Kitna. If there was a video recording, it is sure to bring tears to many eyes. I saw the elders, some of the Central Trust members, they were weeping behind the stage.
It's our anthem.
Behind the stage. Yeah.
That's our anthem.
Which the students had.
Yes.
And when Swami returned, he put his hand on my shoulder like this and said, Adira Bhavamante. That is what the feeling is. So Kumar sir, over to you.
Thank you, Sai Natha. See, we never know the inside story. So many things Swami operate in so many different ways. To give you a little story from my end, Sailesh came, he was staying in B0, and I was staying in the old dispensary room with Nageshwar sir and Satish Babu. He just called Satish Babu and me to his B0, a little room, and said, sir, we are going to do a new experiment. We all have sung songs, but this time we're going to do this time we're going to do Hindi, Telugu, and English, so that everyone can pour their heart out in terms of what they want to speak to Swami. So not just only Telugu, not only Hindi, not only English. So he wanted that combination. So it's something new. Sailesh is talking to me. I said, okay, good. And then Satish Babu wrote the lyrics then and there quickly. Those two, I'll just go directly to the Telugu part because that's where I came in. And he said, Neevu leni ma jivanam, neeru leni chepa vedanam, neeku maaku oke bandamu, adiye prema bandamu. So everything is going on. And then suddenly adiye prema bandamu is not coming in meter. Like 1, 2, Neevu leni ma jivanam. So when I demonstrated, you saw it, right? Neeku maaku oke bandamu, adiye prema bandamu. Adiye prema bandamu is like kind of not willing to complete the cycle. And not only that, how will you take? So then I demonstrated. I don't want to take too much time right now. Then I was tuning in, sir, whatever Sailesh said, whatever you tune, that's what is going, final. So I kept tuning, and then third line I finished, Neevu leni ma jivanam, neeru leni. You have to chepa vedanam, the fish out of water, how it will kind of flitter around. That feeling has to come in the word. Swami taught all this to me in various other songs. So I had to bring that in action now. Neeru leni. You have to give that, the fish without without water, that kind of fish, how it will go through the kind of feeling. That's why that tune is like that. Then again, you have to come back to Swami. Ni sannide, you have to be cool. Ni sannide maaku pennidi, which means your presence is our refuge. Needu chupe prana. You have to take it to your looks is actually equivalent to our life breath. Niku maaku okay. There's only one bond between you and me, and then the thalam goes out. Adiye prema bandham, why will I stop? Meaning, Neeku maaku oke bandhamu, adiye prema bandhamu is horrible, right? It
No.
sounds terrible. That is the peak of the whole line. And then I have a commitment or I have a command where I need to make that part in beat, which sounds good. I said, Sailesh, this is not sitting on matra or beat. There's only one way we can do this. Neeku maaku oke bandhamu. We stop, then we all sing together. Adiye prema bandhamu. Can we do this? He said, but it's not talam, it's not on talam. Sir, we are going with this idea right now. We are done with this. Now, I said, how will boys do without beat?
Yeah.
You won't believe when we sang for the first time, having all the boys in the auditorium for the practice. Swami heard all the practice. You're saying that, Sai Natha. That is so true. The moment we, I was teaching them this song and I told them this is a very tough part. There is a silent Western style of talam. It is prema bandhamu. So that has to go with all our heart pouring into that song. And that is exactly what we heard 600 times. The strength of the hostel used to be 625 those days. So 625 times we heard it. Man, Swami's boys, Swami has created them. And who are we to claim any bit of any composition here? It is Swami's idea to have built that in the no beat situation. In the composition, the matras are failing because Swami wanted it this way. And that is how it became Swami's own song, which we all are singing. So can we sing it? Any other thoughts?
No.
Kumar, without any ado, start, please. Let's close this with a beautiful song.
सुन लो दिल की पुकार सुन लो सुन लो सुन लो हमको तुमसे प्यार कितना साई तुम ही जानते दिलों की धड़कन तुम हो साई तुम हमारे प्राण हो हमको तुमसे प्यार है we love you dearest Lord we love you we love you dearest Sai we love you నీవు లేని మా జీవనం నీరు లేని చేపవేదనం నీ సన్నిధే మాకు పెన్నిధి నీదు చూపే ప్రాణ సమానం నీకు మాకు ఒకే బంధము అది ప్రేమ బంధము हमको तुमसे प्यार कितना Sai Ram, this song we never knew when we sang for the first time is going to be sung thousands of times by thousands of people all over the world. But Swami only can make that happen. And thanks for giving this opportunity to Swami for allowing me to be that squirrel, which Ravi mentioned. And thank you so much, Abhi and Sai Ram.
Thank you, brothers. I wish to thank all the people who have been logging in to listen to our journey and sharing in this nectarine journey of divine. I request all of you to please give your feedback. Please share your questions, suggestions, so that we can create our next session also accordingly. And I thank you once again, offer our most sincere gratitude to our Bhagwan for allowing this beautiful satsang to happen through the internet across the world. Just for information, we have people logged in from all parts, starting from America to Indonesia, and it's a joy to share. So thank you very much, brothers, for taking time and coming and sharing your experience and journey with Bhagwan. And thank you all the audiences for coming and listening and giving us your feedback and encouragement. May Swami bless
Thank you.
everybody. Sai Ram.
Thank you.
Sairam.
Thank you. One and all.
Thank you and Sairam. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sairam.
brothers. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.